Notre Dame football is presented to you by Coke Zero. These two teams rank 1-2 all-time in college wins. Here in South Bend, it's dead even. 7 wins, 7 losses, 1 tie. Dead even in South Bend. Notre Dame has ruled in recent years in the rivalry against Michigan, and the winner today will be the all-time college football leader in terms of winning percentage. Michigan is there now by barely over Notre Dame. That's a look at Ross Ryan set to kick it off for the Wolverines. Notre Dame won the opening toss, and as Charlie Weiss's habit, elected to receive the football. Grimes and West are deep for the Irish. Ross Ryan boots it. Taken by Grimes in the end zone. He'll down it there. So the Irish will take over at their own 20-yard line. And so Brady Quinn will head onto the field for his coach, Charlie Weiss. Nearly 65% completions for Quinn, who had the 3 touchdowns last week against Penn State and has not thrown an interception all season. Let's look at our starting lineups, brought to you by Adidas. Backs and receivers, and you'll notice that Asaph Schwab, the starting fullback, out, replaced by McConnell. Harris, Santucci, Sullivan, Morton, and freshman Sam Young. Key matchup with Lamar Woodley today.
Yeah, one of the key ones we'll be watching today.
First down play, Quinn's going to put it in the air. And he's going deep down the sideline. A little pushing and shoving match as Samardzija and Morgan Trent were matched up down the sideline.
It's a good Michigan defense.
And here they are, the Adidas starting lineup for the Wolverines on D with Woodley, Taylor, Branch, and Biggs. Those 2 defensive ends amongst the best in college football. Crable, Harris, and Burgess. Charlie Weiss said Crable would be a key man today.
Yeah, those linebackers are going to have to chase in space.
Hall, Mundy, Adams, and Trent in the secondary. And flags will fly as Terrence Taylor on the defensive line for Michigan.
Prior to the snap, offside, number 67, defense, made contact, at the 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
It's a Big Ten officiating crew today. That was Dennis Lipsky, the referee.
And Lloyd Carr has had a pretty good record against top-ranked teams, as a matter of fact.
Lloyd Carr, of course, under fire after 5 losses a season ago. And their season kind of went downhill after their loss at the Big House to Notre Dame. Here's second down and 5 for the Irish. Play action fake. Brady Quinn with time. Through the hands and intercepted. Picked off for an easy touchdown for Prescott Burgess of Michigan.
First turnover of the year for the Irish, Tom.
Off the hands of John Carlson, and Prescott Burgess latches onto it for a 30-yard interception return.
You know, I was just saying these linebackers were going to have to play well in space, and Prescott Burgess did just that. You know, John Carlson, who caught everything in traffic last week, that was an easy catch after what you saw last week from John Carlson go through his hands and right into the hands of the linebacker Burgess for the touch.
His 3rd career interception as Garrett Rivas will attempt the extra point. And the senior from Tampa boots it through. So Burgess with an interception return, 30 yards from Michigan on the first series of the game, puts the Wolverines on top.
There's Carlson just running a little cross route, caught 6 passes last week. In the very second down, they're trying to give him a chance. Should have caught the ball right through his hand. Big break for the Wolverines early on the road.
That's the old tip drill. It turns into 7 points for the Wolverines. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero. Real Coke taste, 0 calories. Enjoy Cokeness. By Lincoln, reach higher. By Adidas and PowerWeb, Reggie's uniform of speed. And by Comcast. Watch more high-def movies with HD from Comcast, where HD movies live. 7-0 Michigan. Brady Quinn with his first interception in 143 attempts. The last was against Stanford last season.
Let's take another look at this, Tom. And watch Carlson. He's going to be wide open, so Brady Quinn really makes the good read. All the linebackers are deep, taking away the outside linebackers. See the coverage there is really wide. And then here is your man who's going to intercept it, Prescott Burgess, right off the hands of a well-thrown of Carlson after a well-thrown ball. See the white jerseys getting out in front of him, the old tip drill as you mentioned. So good read, good throw by Quinn, but the Wolverines turn it into 6.
So a long time between interceptions for Brady Quinn, and that one not his fault. As 143 attempts before having one picked off. And he finds himself down 7-0.
Well, you know, Charlie Weiss talked to us last week. You know, he said after a quarterback throws the interception, what I like to do is come right back with a pass, have him get that out of his mind. Or a guy who fumbles, he wants to give him the ball just to get back into the feel of the game.
So Ryan will tee it up again for Michigan.
Remember, Charlie Weiss is looking for a big return out of the punt or kickoff return. One thing they've worked an awful lot on this week.
Emphasized it all week because he was a bit disappointed they hadn't had a big return yet. First one to open the game off the foot of Ryan resulted in a touchback. Grimes and West, the deep man. Grimes will come out with this one. Flag is down as Grimes tripped up, falling at the 25-yard line. Anton Campbell on the tackle special teams for the Wolverines will check the penalty.
Holding number 91 on the return team. Half of distance to the goal. First down.
Travis Lightco with the holding call puts Brady Quinn in a hole now back to the 11-yard line.
Right down there. Call the hold. Good initial block, then got the left arm around the defender.
So from the 11, first down for the Irish. The interception return for the touchdown by Prescott Burgess, and Michigan leads by 7. Quinn changing the play as Michigan showed blitz for a moment, now backing out. Play action fake. Quinn is going right back to the air. His arm hit as he released. That's an incomplete pass.
Maybe Terrence Taylor inside. The nose tackle got his arm on Brady Quinn. So 2 attempts, 1 interception. A nice play there by Terrence Taylor, the nose tackle. Big old guy inside. Watch number 67. Just got it off the double team. Kind of splits that double team. And just got his hand on the elbow of Brady Quinn. So good play by Taylor. You got that typical nose tackle build, Tom. You know, 6 feet, 305 pounds. Great high school wrestler.
Built like the fire plug. Here's Darius Walker with his first carry of the game. Walker, who has had 200 yards plus in 2 games against Michigan, stopped by Sean Harris. Stripped him up first.
Yeah, you know, he's a guy that's done very, very, very well against Michigan. See what he did in 2004, 2005, both over 100 yards. And, you know, he can be as anonymous as a telephone operator. You don't notice him a lot. But, boy, at the end of the game, you look at all the stats. You look at the things that Darius Walker does well. And you said, hey, that guy helped our team win.
Very complete player in this his junior season. 3rd down and 8.
Good defensive ends here off the corners for Michigan.
On the shotgun, Quinn pumps once, reloads, and throws a pop-up. Up for grabs, and Grimes can't get there.
I tell you, thus far, this Michigan defense, 2 series, very good 2 defensive series. 1 interception for a touchdown, and they put lots of heat on Brady Quinn. This is without, well, they got a 5th rusher in the middle as a blitzer. Remember, Ohio State and Georgia Tech both came after Brady Quinn with the blitz with some success, and Michigan did it on that play.
Well, body English from Charlie Weiss didn't work as Leon Hall defended for Michigan, and the dangerous Reston is deep to receive the punt from Jeff Price. Reston makes the first man miss, spins away from the second, and falls to the 50-yard line. Another nice return from Steve Reston. Special teams tackle Casey Cullen, but a good start for the Wolverines as Preston walked that one 13 yards after the punt, covered 50. Michigan will have its offensive unit out for the first time, already leading by 7. Prescott Burgess with a 30-yard interception return for a touchdown. Michigan leads 7-0 as Chad Henne and the Wolverine offense take the field for the first time. Where the numbers on Henne.
Career numbers, 50 touchdown passes.
5,500 yards in his career, 4th all time at Michigan.
Threw 40 passes last year against Notre Dame, and that's not the kind of game they want. They want to mash it a little bit, use that big old offensive line.
50 career TD passes. He's gone 55 straight without an interception, Henne. Handing to their workhorse, Mike Hart. And the Notre Dame defense stacks him up after a gain of 2 or 3 yards. As we take a look at our starting lineups, brought to you by Adidas. Mike Hart with great games, over 200 yards in each of the first 2 victories by the Wolverines. Preston, the dangerous man. They want to get him the ball a lot if they can. Long is excellent. Krause, Beal, Mitchell, and Riley.
Jake Long, watch him, number 77, the left tackle, switched from a right tackle a year ago.
Hart hit in the backfield, hit by Victor Abiamiri and taken down at the line of scrimmage. So far, Michigan sticking with what has worked for them in their first 2 games, and that is pounding the football behind that big offensive line. Trying to counter it, this defensive line up front. Abiamiri, Laws, Landry, and Talley. The backers, Thomas, Crum, and Thomas. And in the secondary, Wooden, Richardson, Ndukwe, and Zibikowski. Nickel defense this time for Notre Dame on 3rd down and long. From the shotgun, Chad Henne's first pass attempt. Under pressure, intercepted. Ndukwe with a clear path to the end zone. Ndukwe knocked out of bounds at the 4-yard line. A hustling play to just prevent the touchdown, but Ndukwe picks it off, and Henne saves the score after Ndukwe brought it 55 yards.
Yeah, how about right at the end, his foot goes out. They called him out on the 4 as his left foot, but how about Ndukwe making some plays the last 3 weeks, Tom? Played well against Georgia Tech, last week against Penn State, lost 20 pounds. He's just moving a heck of a lot better.
So a long string for Brady Quinn without an interception, 143 attempts. Henne had 55 before that one.
You just brought that up, didn't you?
First and goal for the Irish. All just inside the 5. Walker. Darius Walker tries the middle. Shea Harris.
Excuse me, Tom. And Ndukwe, get another look at the interception. This year he's had a sack. Just did good. He's had a sack. It's his 2nd interception. He's forced to fumble, knock balls away. Just playing some really good free safety alongside Tom Zibikowski, their strong safety.
Second interception for Ndukwe, who nearly took it back all the way. Quinn with a touchdown pass to McConnell, the backup fullback. Ashley McConnell, the senior from Adairsville, Georgia, with his first touch of the football this season, and it goes for a pass reception TD.
I tell you, Charlie Weiss, you've got to prepare to defend everybody. McConnell hardly has touched the ball his entire career, but the fullbacks, that's where fullbacks and tight ends are always open, and the fullback that time, McConnell, the front of the end zone was wide open. Samarsha was behind him, attracting 2 or 3 defenders, and that's why McConnell comes open for the touch.
He had 1 carry last year. That was the first time he has touched the ball this year, as Carl Joya adds the extra points. Well, defense is dominating in the first quarter here at Notre Dame. Burgess with an interception return for a touchdown. Ndukwe with a near touchdown on his interception return. And then Quinn converts the TD with a pass to his fullback, Ashley McConnell. The Wolverines and the Irish knotted at 7 in the first quarter at Notre Dame Stadium.
Over 10 minutes to go, tied at 7. Let's go back and have a look at that touchdown. And watch Jeff Samardzija, the attention. This is the guy who caught 14 touchdown passes last year, 15 last year, 1 this year. He gathers a lot of attention, and so the fullback, McConnell, comes wide open. There are, 4 white jerseys around Jeff Samardzija?
And why not?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd guard him, too.
You just can't stop everything. And Brady Quinn with his roommate, Ndukwe, thanking him. two were high school teammates in Dublin, Ohio, Kaufman High School. They lived together off campus in a house here in South Bend.
Brady used to throw it to him in high school. Really good high school receiver combination.
Bobby Rankus will kick off for Notre Dame. Preston and Sears deep for the Wolverines. Kick by Rankus will be a short one. Taken by Sears. Looking for a seam. Cuts up. And a pretty nice return just short of the 30-yard line. And in case you missed it today, you'll want to visit NBCSports.com every Saturday before our Notre Dame telecast. Half hour before we hit the air will be the Vonage Notre Dame countdown to kickoff. A lot of features and color from the pregame festivities here at Notre Dame Stadium. That's at NBCSports.com for the Vonage Notre Dame countdown to kickoff before every Notre Dame home game.
John Walters, a former writer of SI, who lives right here in South Bend, a Notre Dame student. Giving us some interesting perspective.
Did indeed, had his finger on the pulse pretty well, I would say. Henny, first down. Back to the air for him, and that's tipped, and then
almost intercepted.
Almost intercepted. Breston, I think, latched onto it. He did.
That was a heck of a catch by Breston.
Gain of 7 yards.
Chad Henne had that ball tipped. When they played here a couple of years ago, I remember Chad Henne having a few balls tipped as well, Tom. Derek Landry, number 66, getting his right hand up there, perfectly timed by Landry. And watch Breston, number 15, hang in there. That is really a good catch.
Strong hands.
A guy who was had a great freshman year, kind of banged up the last two. They're looking for a big game from Breston today.
He was injured against Notre Dame last year. Here's the handoff to Hart, and he stopped for a loss on the play by Talley and Abby Amiri, the defensive ends. A lot has been made of the new zone blocking scheme put in by the new offensive coordinator, Mike DeBoer. It didn't work here.
Yeah, watch right down here. That's Talley, just kind of fighting off the left tackle, Jayden Long, and then a tight end as well. Good play by Ronald Talley. Ronald Talley kind of starts against run-dominated teams, which Michigan is, and they share that one defensive end position with 3 different players.
Hart, net 0 yards on 3 carries. 6 defensive backs for the Irish.
And 3 down linemen.
Henny, sacked. Travis Thomas with that speed, the converted running back with a sack of Chad Henne.
And you know what? It's a 3rd down sack by Chad Henne. And last year, Chad Henne was sacked 21 times, 15 of them on 3rd down. Watch the speed of Travis Thomas right up the middle. Former offensive player, now playing linebacker position. They very, very fast, added a lot of speed to that defense. And a good rush there by Travis Thomas.
Zoltan Mesko, the left footer, in punt formation. Zudikowski says get away from it as it sails out of bounds at the 40-yard line of the Irish. That's a 37-yard punt with no return. Chad Henne sacked 21 times last season, 15 of those on 3rd down.
Yeah, you got to get rid of the ball here some. Again, early blitz, though, by Travis Thomas. Had a sack last week as well. Got no help. Defense, it's been all defense in this first quarter.
Both sides. Seven game in the first quarter at Notre Dame Stadium. Beautiful shot of the stadium there, and our aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear Silent Armor, featuring a layer made with Kevlar for rugged deafness and a comfortable ride. Lloyd Carr under fire from some Michigan fans after the 5 losses.
How's that possible? I mean, you look what he's done against top 10 teams, 3-1 against top 2 teams. He's won 100 games, you know, won 5 Big Ten championships, won a national championships. I mean, give me a break.
Well, the defenses have indeed dominated. Notre Dame with 6 net yards, Michigan -2. First down for the Irish, and a pitch to Walker. Darius Walker, the patient runner, crosses the 45-yard line. Taken down there by Ryan Mundy, who gets to start at free safety for the Wolverines today.
The last game Darius Walker had against Michigan in the Big House, kind of typical of a game for Darius Walker. He had 104 yards rushing, 5 catches. You know, just in this year he's blocking a lot better, pass protection. There's his parents, and you know, he's blocking so much better in pass protection.
His dad Jimmy played for Lou Holtz at Arkansas. He and his wife Laverne too South Bend when her son signed with Notre Dame. That time, Darius lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. In fact, they'll mark him for a slight loss in the play.
That was big old Lamar Woodley, I think, who had a piece of him.
Yeah, Dave Harris as well, the linebacker, fifth-year senior from Grand Rapids.
There's a good look at Lamar Woodley. Leads the NCAA in sacks with 4 this year, had 7 a year ago. And, you know, Ron English, the defensive coordinator, was talking to us this week and said very, very simply, a direct statement, we need him to be a dominant player.
Under the 6.5-minute mark in the first quarter at Notre Dame Stadium, 7-7 game. Quinn, swing pass, Walker can't handle it, over his hand and incomplete.
That's one that Brady Quinn doesn't miss much and forces a second punt by Jeff Price.
Well, the defenses continue to rule here at the stadium. Although that was kind of an unforced error, but it looked like they had it pretty well covered as if they had completed it.
I think Michigan has practiced against the fake punt. How about Jeff Price? What a weapon Jeff Price has been.
Averaging 48 yards a punt, coming in on 9 for the season. And he sails this one. Breaston will let it go, and it'll hit at the 1 and bounce into the end zone for a touchback. That was what Charlie Weiss said about his punter, Jeff Price. Right now, it's just bombs away. He kicks just as far as he can. The nuances of punting are still new to him. He hasn't mastered those yet.
Well, you know, the defense has been maligned all season long until really the last couple of weeks, and boy, have they played well. Georgia Tech, there's Ndukwe again making a big play, another one out of bounds. The blitz by Thomas, second sack of the year for him. And they have played much, much better, much quicker this year that last week against Penn State. One of the changes, Rick Minter is the defensive coordinator for the first time in 22 years, has moved upstairs.
First down, Michigan. They hand it to Mike Hart. And Notre Dame's defense strings the play out to the sideline. They get good pursuit. They get about 8 people around the football and make the hit. That's the way to defend that. And Rick Minter, the defensive coordinator, had to be talking to his team about defending Mike Hart today, and they've done a good job on him so far. Let's go down to Lewis.
All right, Tom, well, you can look now. You see defensive back coach Bill Lewis for Notre Dame on the sideline. We were talking before the game, and he said he really has an increased level of communication with his defensive backs. He can make changes very quick and can even make some adjustments with his guys right on the field, maybe before the play happens. So Bill Lewis enjoying this new communication to help his defense be a bit more effective on the field. Tom?
Steve Breaston takes the pass from Henne, and Ndukwe tackles him, but it's right at the first down marker. They'll take a good long look at it here. Rick Minter upstairs, and Charlie Weiss saying one of the things he thought they were lacking in the secondary play last season was communication. So he put Lewis on the sideline so he can look his defenders in the eye.
Right, yeah. You know, there's been a conspicuous absence of kind of communication breakdown. We haven't seen too many people running wide open against the Irish this year.
Just short of the first down. It'll be third down, less than a yard for the Wolverines.
I think they might run against run behind Jake Long, that big old left tackle, 313 pounds.
Left tackle and a lefty at that. Hart is the tailback, but it'll be a sneak by Henne. Driving forward, and looks like he will just have enough. It is first down.
Chad Henne, what a great freshman year. Actually, if you look at Chad Henne's first 2 years as a starter and compare them to Brady Quinn, he's actually had a better start in his first 2 years. Now he's a junior, Quinn's a senior, of course.
Well, he was a freshman All-American, Pat, and passed for over 2,700 yards, 25 touchdowns, the best freshman performance in Michigan and Big Ten history.
You see that 48 touchdowns, only 20 interceptions in those first 2 years as a starter, better than Quinn. Oh, wide open.
Wide open down the field. That's Manningham. He got behind the defense. There's one of those guys coming free.
Oh, yeah.
And Ambrose Wooden could only play catch-up. It'll be a touchdown, Michigan. Mario Manningham's second touchdown reception of the season. It goes for 70 yards. He was absolutely wide open, and Henne found him.
Absolutely easy. Hard not to find him. Manningham was open by a good 15 yards. A little out and then up by Mario. You know, rising star in the Big Ten. Had a real good freshman year, but just absolutely blew by Ambrose Wooden, who had bitten on the out move by Manningham. Good call, good delivery by Henne.
Rivas extra point attempt, and it's blocked. Blocked by Landry. Derek Landry blocks the point after attempt.
Tom, Michigan has had 2 big plays. One on defense by Burgess for a touchdown, and the long throw to Mario Manningham.
And the second block against Rivas this season, but Manningham had the 70-yard TD. Coach Bill Lewis talking to his secondary after they were burned for a 70-yard touchdown strike, and Michigan leads Notre Dame 13-7 after the extra point was blocked. Charlie Weiss and Brady Quinn with a conversation. And we're joined in the booth now by Jerome Bettis, who...
The bus.
Well, he wasn't the bus then. He was more like an old pickup truck or something.
SUV when he was a student. Got better mileage, too, I bet.
Yes, a whole lot more.
He wore number 6 for 6. I remember many times you would, on the sideline after you scored a touchdown, do 6 for 6.
Quite a bit.
And it's probably a different perspective for you to come up here and see your old rivals as a Michigan native playing your alma mater. It's quite a day.
It really is.
There's the kick by Ryan. David Grimes fields it. And Grimes fumbles the football, and Michigan has recovered.
So 2 turnovers. One that was returned for an interception for a touchdown, a mistake on special teams. Remember, this is coming off a Penn State game when all 3 faces played well.
Pat, didn't we say today that it was amazing that there wasn't much hoopla compared to last week? They just seemed, the fans, a little flat.
A little flat. Now he's carrying the ball high and tight, Jerome. You know what that's about? Just a helmet on the ball, strike knocks it loose.
Yeah, it was just a good hit on the ball.
Morgan Trent recovers it for Michigan.
But, you know, the defense has been giving up a big play. Special teams has given up a play. Best after they played well in all 3 phases against Penn State.
Henny wide open. The pass caught by Olibo with a catch, and he takes it close to a first down. It was Olibo that put his helmet on the football, too, to help cause the fumble.
I'll tell you, that's a heck of a throw by Chad Henne, because he had an Irish defender right in his face. Olibo, we were talking to Mike DeBoer this week, said he's our most valuable player in our running game because he's often the lead blocker, and in that zone block, he kind of blocks the backside as well.
Well, Notre Dame had been turnover free, and then 2 in this first quarter. Here's Mike Hart with a cutback, and just dragged down by Zibikowski from behind. 1st and goal, Michigan, a gain of 10.
Well, you're sweating, Jerome. Is it because of the heat, or are you worried about your old alma mater?
I'm worried about my Irish. This is the first time that I've been back since I've been playing to actually watch a game. So this is it's really foreign to me right now.
And this is quite a rivalry, Notre Dame, Michigan. You played a bunch of these games, and, you know, is it as good as it gets?
It's as good as it gets in college football. And we used to look forward to this game every year. It's a big game.
1st and goal from the 8. Henny hands to Hart. Hit at the 10 and falls forward for maybe a loss of 1 on the play, close to the original line of scrimmage. Trevor Laws had him by the ankles.
Good play by Trevor Laws. You know, really kind of getting in there, clawing and scratching. Good penetration by Trevor Laws. One of those guys, unsung guys, inside as a defensive tackle, just fought off a couple of blocks and got a piece of, got some help from Maurice Crum as well.
He did lose a yard on the play. 2nd and goal from the 9. Nickel defense. And the penalty flags come flying as, let's see if it's against Landry or whether it was one of the offensive linemen.
66, defense, main contact, that's half the distance to the goal. We're still 2nd down.
That was Derek Landry. He's so quick off the ball, too quick that time.
Yeah, he is one of the quickest guys you'll see off the ball. 26th consecutive start at defensive tackle, you know, pounding around there on the inside, getting beaten up by those 300-pound linemen, put on 20 pounds, looks like Jerome did as well. Put on that 20 pounds.
Oh, thank you. You're so kind. Spot the ball at the Notre Dame 4, 2nd and goal, Michigan. Going right into the student section, so a lot of noise. Play action fake, Henny. Miscommunication as receiver fell down, and Zibikowski held him. It was Manningham against Zibikowski. Zibikowski will be called for the hold.
Yeah, absolute holding on Tom Zibikowski.
pass interference on the defense. The foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be spotted at the 2-yard line. First and goal.
I thought that was a good call. I think Zibikowski was holding from the get-go. Take a look, Jerome.
Yeah, he was. It was a simple play action, and he got caught with his eyes in the backfield. And that's one thing, you can't do that down around the goal line.
Manning Hamill had a big touchdown catch, and then a big penalty against him down there. It gives the Wolverines first and goal.
Olebo and Hart in the I formation. Hart dives for the touchdown.
Well, you know, a tough start for the Irish, Tom, but remember back to that Georgia Tech game too, Jerome. You know, they did not panic. And one of the characteristics of Charlie White's teams, they do not panic, but a good drive there and over the top by Mike Hart, injured, couldn't play against Notre Dame last year, and so much wanted to make his mark in this year's game.
That's his 4th rushing touchdown of the season, and Rebus, who had his last point after attempt blocked, lined up again, and this one will split the uprights. Extra point good. So a fumble of the kickoff, and Michigan converts into a touchdown. They extend their lead to 20-7 over Notre Dame.
And this is just a simple downhill run. Mike Hart he wants it bad, and you see him go up over the top. Small guy, but man, that's a pretty big vertical leap.
You know, he set the high school record upstate New York for total number of touchdowns. He scored 204 touchdowns, many of them like this in high school up in Syracuse.
Yeah, he's a special player. Not a big guy, but big in stature.
All-American player there, player of the year in New York, 3-time state champion, Onondaga Central High School.
You know what his first name is? His first real name is Leon. Leon Hart is his real name. I don't know if he's named after one of the great Notre Dame players or not, but his first given name is Leon.
Might be why he goes by Mike.
Yeah, exactly. When he plays against Notre Dame, for sure.
Well, the last kick return was a fumble by Grimes that turned into a Michigan touchdown. And this one, taken by West, took it right out of Grimes' hands, and a flag down as he tripped up at about the 13-yard line.
So what do you expect from the Irish offense here, Jerome?
Well, they got to get some consistency going. They haven't had any consistency in the running game. You know, they're throwing the ball. They went for some big passes, but they haven't, you know, marched down the football field. And that's what I want to see, a nice, consistent drive.
Holding number 87 of the receiving team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Marcus Freeman with the hold, and Notre Dame put in a hole again. It's uncharacteristically been a first quarter filled with Irish mistakes.
Yeah, you got interception, you got a fumbled kickoff, 4 penalties, no first downs, 10 total yards
on 10 plays. The 11th about to unfold inside the final minute of the quarter. First down from the 7, Darius Walker.
Burgess again, Tom.
Met him along with Hall. And Walker, who had the 2 big rushing games in his first 2 games against the Wolverines, held in check so far. Our first down line, the yellow line, presented by Xerox.
I think Notre Dame would like to see it. Get past it.
That would be their first of the game. Walker with 5 carries, 12 yards so far.
Well, you know, here's their big-time receiver, Samardzija, down here at the bottom. Now, he's been a decoy in that 1 touchdown, but they haven't been able to get him the ball just yet.
Well, he's been well covered. Draw play handoff to Walker. Crosses the 15-yard line. He's going to be just short of that yellow line, I think. Let's see where they spot it. It'll be about a yard short. And that'll bring the first quarter to a close. The Irish fans in shock as Michigan, with a couple of big defensive plays, a couple of turnovers, a 70-yard touchdown strike, and they lead it 20-7 after the first quarter at Notre Dame Stadium. We'll return after these messages from your local NBC station. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC, presented by Coke Zero. The Irish band with the victory march trying to rally Notre Dame as we start the second quarter. It's 20-7 Michigan, and the Irish facing a crucial 3rd and 1 here deep in their own territory.
My recollection is Charlie Weiss over the last year and a half has been a pretty good short yardage team. His Irish team have been a very good short yardage team, particularly on 4th downs. This is 3rd and 1.
From the 16-yard line, 3 tight ends, Carlson, Freeman, Yeatman.
No. Good
Didn't make it.
No.
Darius Walker stopped short of the first down. In fact, lost a yard. It'll be 4th down, and the Irish will punt from deep in their own territory. Will Johnson from his defensive tackle spot, the first to get penetration for the Wolverines.
Yeah, and about 2 other guys got some penetration in there as well.
So Price will go to punt formation for the Irish. After they stop Walker.
Tom Ron English, the defensive coordinator, Michigan, said this week, I don't know how good we are. We're going to find out. Well, thus far, in the first quarter, they've been pretty good on defense.
The early returns are good.
Absolutely.
And Jeff Price sailing into the arms of Breston. Takes it at the 35-yard line. Breston straight up the middle, hit once, and taken down. Pretty good coverage on special teams by the Irish, with David Bruton getting the tackle. 11-yard return after the punt, covered 50 yards. Well, we're going to send Jerome back to New York tomorrow, because the big NFL game coming up tomorrow night is those 2 old rivals, Washington and Dallas, get together at Texas Stadium. Parcells against Gibbs. It doesn't get much better than that.
It doesn't. 2 Hall of Fame coaches. It's going to be a special game, so I'm excited and looking forward to getting back.
Washington, Dallas, 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Jerome and company will be involved, of course. Pre-game halftime. And right now he's trying to pull his Irish through as Mike Hart gets the first down handoff and gets it about 4 yards.
Hey, Jerome, let me ask you a question about Terrell Owens, who we're going to see tomorrow night. I mean, you were always known as a great teammate. What would you want to have him as a teammate? As good as he is as a player, would you want him as a teammate?
It's tough because he's an incredible player, but some of the antics that he brings off the field, that's what you don't want as a team player. And so I would have to say I would love to see him, but probably wouldn't want him on my team.
I hear you. Wouldn't want to have to defend him either.
Yeah, no. He's undefendable.
And Michigan has taken a timeout. Lloyd Carr looking over and gives the signal. Chad Henne calls the timeouts. 13:15 to go in the second quarter, and the Wolverines on top. Notre Dame football is brought to you by General Motors. A new level of quality, a new level of confidence. By Charles Schwab. Why should market performance dictate your performance? Talk to Chuck, Charles Schwab. By Sirius Satellite Radio, the best radio on radio. And by Warner Brothers' new motion picture, The Departed, in theaters Friday, October 6th. Tom Hammond, Pat Hayden, Lewis Johnson, and our special guest, Jerome Bettis, on the campus of the University of Notre Dame. Our aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear, featuring Silent Armor, a layer made with Kevlar for rugged toughness and a comfortable ride. After the timeout, Michigan has it 2nd down and 7 from the Wolverine 49. Fake to Hart. Henne rolls, sets his feet, and throws. That'll be out of bounds, incomplete. No, they marked it inbounds. They marked it a catch. Adrian Arrington.
I'll tell you, Chad Henne had 3 different guys open, but he went deep on the deep comeback route. Arrington, did he get his feet in?
I'm not sure he had possession with his feet inbounds, but they're hurrying up. They're up at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it's very smart play. Get the ball snapped before they
can be reviewed. And here is this, and it'll be stopped.
Yeah, they're going to review it. But heads-up play by Mike DeBoer, the offensive coordinator. Every team in college football has a hurry-up play to try to avoid reviews.
But they will review it. Jim Keogh from the Big Ten is the man upstairs to look at it.
Manningham was open in front of him. I don't think he comes down inbounds.
I don't either. I didn't when he caught it, and I didn't on the replay.
What about our Notre Dame graduate? What do you think? Was he in?
He was clearly out. Clearly out.
So Lloyd Carr complaining, but they review every play, and they won't stop the game unless they need more time to review it, which is exactly what they did.
And they always give the benefit of the doubt to the call on the field.
It was ruled a catch on the field.
As much as I hate to say it, it looks as though it was a catch.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Well, there's some guys running open there too, Tom. We've seen some widers here. Manningham was open that time. Arrington was open as well.
Hard to see because you can't see when exactly he has possession with his back to the camera.
And one foot's got to come down with possession. With possession of the ball.
And his knee down, but did he have possession
at that time? No. I think he's out. The call on the field was a reception.
Well, without the indisputable video evidence to reverse it, it'll stand as called.
You know, much has been made about Michigan's early schedule not being terribly robust, getting their first challenge today, but boy, they have responded with 20 points here early in this game. Great defensive plays.
And wins over Vanderbilt and Central Michigan, where they basically just ran them to pieces, 5 yards a carry averaging nearly, and so they didn't have to show much of their offense.
Yeah, they didn't, but you know, it really has been a defensive effort thus far for Michigan, and that great special teams play. They've scored off the turnovers. Had 10 sacks in a couple games.
Video confirms play stands as called. It is a catch.
So the catch by Arrington stands, his third catch of the season, and it was a sparkling one as he is ruled inbounds with possession, giving the Wolverines a first down just inside the 35 of Notre Dame.
And a nice call, too, by Mike DeBoard, Tom, because they really kind of rolled out Chad Henne, gave him an opportunity to get away from Notre Dame's rush. And as I said, there were 3 different guys that were open.
Since Henne had his first pass of the game intercepted, he's hit 5 for 5 for 110 yards and a touchdown. Hart with a cutback, using those zone blockers and finding a seam in the defense, and a good gain on first down.
Take a look at this zone blocking, Jerome. Tell me what you like about this zone blocking in this Michigan offensive line.
Well, they're getting a hat on a hat, as we would say, and they're just driving their guys. Hart's, he's got the vision to see it, and he's coming downhill. He's aggressive, and they're knocking the defenders off of the ball, and that's not what you want to see if you're out of it.
And how about the eyes of Mike Hart? Just kind of cut back with that good vision.
Hart again hit in the backfield, but managed to pull free and then knocked down just short of the 20-yard line. And one thing, Jerome, that you always did well was possess the football, hold on to the football, and that's a positive characteristic for Mike Hart as well.
Yeah, as many carries as he gets, for him not to turn the football over, he runs tough, he runs physical, he's fast, and not turning the football over, he becomes a very valuable weapon for the Michigan offense.
Last time he fumbled was his freshman year. Every coach talk about carrying it high and tight. Is that the secret?
Well, it's hard for people to get a good shot on him.
Yeah,
he's not the biggest guy in the world.
First down, give to Hart again. And with that zone blocking, he has sort of the freedom to pick his spot. It's not a called hole, right? He finds a seam in the defense with that zone blocking.
Exactly. It's the patience and the vision that you have to have. And as a smaller guy, he can get through some of those cracks that a bigger back like myself wouldn't have been able to get through.
You needed a good offensive line.
Exactly. I would have needed a little bit more hold.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
You did just fine.
Second down and 8. Henne for the end zone. Caught for the touchdown by Manningham.
This time over Lambert.
20-yard touchdown pass, Henne to Manningham. And the Wolverines are laying it to the Irish here in the first half.
I'll tell you, Manningham, who had a terrific freshman year last year in the Big Ten, a little stutter step. Then we ran an out and up against Ambrose Wooten. This is a little stutter go against Terrell Lambert, a nickelback. Perfect throw again by Chad Henne. And Michigan has done absolutely everything well. Special teams, defense, offense, good play calling, and tremendous execution. Wow.
And the extra point by Rivas is good.
Staggering the Irish.
Manningham, second touchdown reception of the game. First one went for 70. That one goes for 20. And it's 27-7 Wolverines. Bill Lewis, Notre Dame secondary has been stocked today, and the Irish are down by 20 points with 11:26 to go in the second quarter. Ross Ryan will kick it off to West or Grimes.
Do you ever think you'd see Brady Quinn start 1 for 6 with an interception?
And the Irish get to record a first down. And the pressure falls on that Notre Dame offense now. As the kickoff by Ryan, taken by Grimes. David Grimes picking his way forward, stopped at the 28-yard line.
Hey, Tom, let's take another look at that touchdown. Watch Manningham. He's had 2 long ones. He's right down here at the bottom of the screen. Remember, he ran an out and up for the 70-yard touchdown. This is just a little stutter go and runs right by Terrell Lambert, who didn't get his hands on him. And then a perfect throw over the top.
And what he does is he stops that defender. He doesn't know what he's going to do inside, outside. That burst of speed in the back of the end zone. Great throw by Henry as well.
This is what all the pundits predicted from the Notre Dame secondary before the season. It hadn't looked like it in the first 2 games, but here in the first half, it's been a struggle. McKnight, first time he's touched the ball, it's ruled no catch.
Jerome, have you noticed ever since you came up to the booth, Michigan has really kind of opened this lead? They were just fine until you joined us up there.
I know. You know, this is my first game, so maybe I am.
maybe he needs to go back to the sideline and get a jersey on.
I'd go to the grotto. Light a candle.
Brady Quinn on target. That one caught by David Grimes. Out of bounds with a first down. That's the initial first down of the game for the Irish.
And, you know, they can claw their way back into it, but Brady Quinn is going to have to really be efficient from here on out. Big cushion there for David Grimes. Perfect throw by Brady Quinn for the first down.
First catch of the year for David Grimes, the sophomore from Detroit.
Just working back in after an injury.
From the shotgun, first down pass behind McKnight. Or actually, he turned the other way, and the pass went one way, he went the other. Incomplete, and Brady Quinn shouting at his
well, you know, again,
receivers.
No huddle. You know, Coach Weiss is going to try to get the up-tempo a little bit now, get some more plays called, get some more first downs.
And get some urgency into his offense.
Yeah, they have played flat, and Michigan's played terrifically.
Quinn, outlet to Walker, can't get away. Tripped up at the 40-yard line by Morgan Trent, who made a spectacular open field tackle on Darius Walker.
I'll tell you, Lamar Woodley there was really putting some heat on Brady Quinn as well. Well, those defensive ends we talked about, Lamar Woodley, Rondell Biggs, Tim Jamison comes in some. Now they shifted Sean Crable down to a defensive end from his linebacker spot. He's right up here.
Third and long from the shotgun. Quinn in traffic. Dangerous pass and incomplete. Carlson was the intended receiver, but bracketed by Michigan defenders.
This ball should not have been thrown. There were 3 guys, white jerseys, around this receiver, making 2, but that's usually enough. 2-on-1, isn't it?
Yeah, that's too many.
They're trying to sneak the ball in there to John Carlson. He had some tight throws in there last week that John Carlson snapped, but again, good coverage by the Wolverines.
So Notre Dame gets the first down, but then Michigan holds. It's 4th down, and Price will punt. Steve Breston will let it bounce, and it takes a good Irish bounce out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. Good job by Price. Deadens it at the 9-yard line. Jerome Bettis, thank you very much. We'll look forward to hearing you at halftime as well. Come back and join us anytime.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it, guys.
51-yard punt. Michigan takes over. Brady Quinn and the Irish in trouble. There'll be some shock waves around the land when this score is announced. Michigan 27-7 over the second-ranked Irish. A couple of moments ago, while we were away, Jeff Samardzija and Brady Quinn with a conference. Samardzija's been cut off by the Michigan defense so far.
So was Raymond McKnight. He was the starting wide receivers who caught a pass.
Meanwhile, Michigan, after an interception and a punt to open the game, have scored touchdowns on 3 straight possessions. Zibikowski just catches Mike Hart, who nearly broke it all the way. Hart with a 21-yard ramble on first down.
You know, Lloyd Carr said he is not a good player. He said Mike Hart is a great player. A great player. Good interior blocks by Mark Beal, the center, Adam Krause, the left guard. And then kind of the vision and the speed. And really, if Tom Zbikowski doesn't make that tackle, he goes for another 30 yards.
1st and 10, ball now at the 30. So Notre Dame had them in a hole after the good punt by Price, and Michigan quickly gets out of it. Big collision at the line of scrimmage that time. Hart tackled Travis Thomas. As we check in with Lewis.
All right, Tom, during that last commercial break, Charlie Watts came over to talk to his offensive line, and he said, guys, we are down 3 scores, and now everything has to be perfect. He says we have 2.5 quarters left, so we need 1 score to get the game within 2 scores. Don't panic, but from now on, everything has to be perfect. Tom?
Well, it was when they were trailing Georgia Tech in the opener that he went in at halftime and said, guys, don't panic.
Yeah, but on the other hand, Michigan just trying to soak as much clock as they possibly can, at the 8:40 mark now.
And with Mike Hart, can they ever do it? Henne sets up the screen pass, incomplete over the head of Mike Hart.
Yeah, that's just Chad Henne's got to get out of the onrush of Chris Fromm to make that an easier catch for Mike Hart, because they had a nice screen set up. But you see number 75 in the blue jersey kind of gets in the throwing lane of Chad Henne, and then he has to throw it high to Mike Hart. Big 3rd down for the Irish defense.
And near the end of today's game, we'll select the Chevrolet players of the game from each team to honor their determination and outstanding play. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund, Chevy and American Revolution. 3rd down and 8. Henne's pass drops, incomplete, intended for Arrington, who scored the 2 touchdowns already today. Wouldn't hit him, dislodged the football, and Michigan will have to punt.
Yeah, even though it was still 3rd and about 9 yards, they're hoping to catch him on the slant, even though it's short of the 1st down mark. The run after the catch would have gotten the 1st. A little bit behind Arrington. But this Irish defense did their part, forced the punt, and a very unusual punt returner in Tom Zbikowski.
I said Arrington had the touchdowns. It was Manningham that had the 2 scores, of course. So here's Mesko to punt. And this is the time when the playmaker, Tom Zbikowski, needs to make himself known. It's a short punt, but takes a good Michigan bounce. Zbikowski says stay away from it, and it'll be down at about the 26-yard line. So Zbikowski didn't get a chance to field it. 42-yard punt with no return. Brady Quinn and his offense need to get untracked, down 20.
The Wolverines up by 20, and Brady Quinn has struggled here. That interception to Burgess really wasn't his fault. Drop pass by his tight end. Next pass, his arm got tipped by the Taylor, the nose guard. He's been under duress this entire 1st half. Again, that time by Burgess. And then just try to force it in there. That's what you have to really kind of keep yourself from doing when you're down by 20. Now, he's got to come up with those plays, but you just can't force a win.
This is the 7th Notre Dame possession. They've had 4 punts and an interception. The only good possession was that 4-yard touchdown drive after the interception by Ndukwe.
Well, Raymond McKnight and Jeff Samardzija, the 2 great outside receivers, have not caught a pass yet.
Quinn adjusting the play. Darius Walker nowhere to go. Then he bursts free suddenly and crosses the 30-yard line. Looked like he was going to be stopped in his tracks. And Jamar Adams had to stop him after he picked up about 5 or 6 yards.
I'll tell you, sometimes for Darius Walker, you don't really need to create anything big. You see John Sullivan, number 78, getting the block on the middle linebacker, Harris. There wasn't much there, but Darius Walker made something out of it.
Sort of turned sideways and squeezed through that hole. Quinn's pass drilled at the knees and incomplete, intended for Samardzija, who still has not caught a pass today, defended by Adams.
Well, this is kind of like the start that Brady Quinn had against Georgia Tech. Got started pretty slowly, rebounded last week against Penn State, but he's been off so far today. We
noted it, and then John Walters mentioned it on the Vonage Countdown to Kickoff that at NBCSports.com that the students and the fans and everybody seemed a little flat.
There wasn't the buzz this week as there was last week against Penn State for sure.
And this is the 3rd straight tough opponent that the Irish have had to face. Nickel defense for the Wolverines. Short drop by Quinn. Drills it to McKnight, incomplete.
Leon Hall, their outstanding corner, making the play on that one. Irish want a pass interference play.
3 and out for Notre Dame.
Yeah, this has been a good, better than good, great defensive effort thus far by Ron English, his defense. New defensive coordinator doing a job now.
Is he ever? Here's Price with the punt to Breston. Good high punt. Breston at the 20. Reversing his field, looking for a block and breaking free momentarily. Then caught from behind as he crosses the 40-yard line. 21-yard return after the punt covered 48. Price, the punter, and Marcus Freeman managed to catch up to Steve Breston. Pretty return by Breston, and everything going the Wolverines' way, dominating on both sides of the football. They lead it 27-7 over the second-ranked Irish. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Chase. To apply for a Notre Dame credit card with Blink from Chase, call 877-49-BLINK today. Michigan leading Notre Dame after the nice return by Steve Breston, the all-time punt return leader for the Wolverines.
He's done so many things well for the Wolverines during his career, and this season, all the things he does well, but only the second player in Big Ten history with 1,000 yards in receiving, punt returns, and kickoff returns. That's a pretty good company with all those great Big Ten players over the years.
On the sideline on this first down play from the Michigan 41-yard line. Arrington in motion. And Henny hands off to Hart. Hit and dropped at the line of scrimmage by Trevor Laws.
Watching some of those offensive linemen up there for Michigan. Mark Beal, number 54, the center. He was a guy that the offensive coordinator, Mike DeBoer, said, hey, Mike Beal has to play well. You'll see him pulling right here, leading the way.
Second and 10.
Breston back on the field. Sorry, Pat.
Yeah, that's okay. Good lead block again by Olivo, number 40, that fullback. Does all that dirty work. There's Beal. Coach said he has to have a real good game against those inside tackles in Notre Dame.
Has so far. Play action fake. Henny's pass. Dropped. Breston, so sure-handed normally, appeared to have a chance to catch that one and didn't.
Well, I think we also appear to have number 9 on his mind.
Well, that'll do it.
Zimikowski.
Looking for that knockout punch.
Yeah, you know, watch Richardson's trailing and Zimikowski's coming the other way.
You know, Richardson might have barely tipped that ball. Tough to tell. Meanwhile, Henny took a hit from Abby Amiri. Big play, 3rd down and 10. Timeout Michigan as Henny saw the play clock ticking down and showed 2 seconds, so he has to call timeout. That's the second timeout taken in the half by Lloyd Carr's Wolverines. As you see, the clock shows 6 minutes and 17 seconds. And it's been all Michigan here in the first half at Notre Dame Stadium. 27-7. Big Blue. A dejected Brady Quinn on the Notre Dame sideline, held in check today. Meanwhile, Michigan's quarterback Chad Henne facing a big 3rd down here.
And Tom, this is a situation I think he really needs to manage this down. Do not force anything. You have a 20-point lead. Your defense is playing great. Don't force it.
Breston in motion. Henne drops. Has a man wide open, and it's a run after the catch to net a first down. Steve Breston. Breston went in motion, reset, and when he came out into the flat, he was wide open. His run after the catch nets a Michigan first down.
Yeah, terrific read by Chad Henne, and it started with that protection. You know, we talked about that big offensive line that's opened the way for Mike Hart, but watch the protection there. Looks to his right, comes back to Breston on the backside, and you have to have some confidence in your receiver. If you're going to throw it short of that first down marker, that he will break a tackle, and Breston did just that.
First down Michigan in Notre Dame territory, already leading by 20, under 6 minutes to go in the half. Hart ridden down by Landry, jumped on his back and rode him to the turf after a short gain.
Come on, Travis! Zimikowski also on the play.
You know, the clock just keeps on churning. You know, the time of possession really has been Notre Dame's friend this year, but Lloyd Carr is turning the tables on the Irish. They're absolutely outpossessing them.
14:51 and counting to 9:45. Second down. Hart head of steam as he bursts up the middle. Caught from behind and dropped by Maurice Crum, but not until he has 13 yards and a Wolverine first down.
And Tom, watch the way he secures this ball, because at the end of this run, I thought this ball could have been knocked out. But he keeps it high and tight, as you'll see. Good lead by block by the fullback. And there's, he's kind of protecting the football high and tight. At the very end of that run, you see he gets, they try to strip him, but he just continues to hang on. Another strong run by Mike Hart.
Oh, first down. This is Grady. Hart's back up, and he looked like he might have fumbled the ball for a moment. Kevin Grady comes in to give Mike Hart a rest.
Kevin Grady got off to a good start this year for the Wolverines. His very first touch against Vandy this year, 19 yards for a touchdown. More of a power guy, if you will. Breaks tackles, 216 pounds.
Sophomore from Grand Rapids, who has 76 yards gained on 17 carries prior to that. The last one, that's netted a yard. Second down. Henny handing off. Grady picking his way forward, shredding the Notre Dame defense and backing ahead for a first down in Dukeway. Hanging on for dear life.
Wow.
They're just shredding the Notre Dame defense.
Absolutely. Mike Hart kind of picks his way, but Kevin Grady just kind of powers his way. Then he just broke through about 3 tackles of Irish defenders. So you got a guy with terrific vision in Mike Hart. You don't know exactly where he's going to go, but then you got the grader in Kevin Grady is going to run it right up the middle and break a bunch of tackles.
11th first down by Michigan. Notre Dame has one. Count them, one. As Grady draws a crowd after a yard. Maurice Crum Jr., first man on the scene. Our first down line, the yellow line there, presented by Seahawks. And it's been Michigan crossing that first down line.
I got a bunch of them
all afternoon.
Offensive line as good as advertised, Tom, don't you think?
70 yards rushing as Grady comes to the sideline, and Hart is back out there in the tailback spot. 66 yards for Hart, who gets another chance.
Well, just does not go down easily, does he?
They finally got him to the turf. Talley and Gabby Amiri.
Mike Hart had that great freshman year. He had almost, 1,500 yards. Hurt a lot last year, and that's one of the reasons the Wolverines went 7-5. And the worst season in 21 years. Hard to believe that's how good Michigan has been over the last 30 years, all right?
Hurt in that game against Notre Dame last year and then missed a couple of games afterwards. Meanwhile, they're chewing up the clock down to 2.5 minutes. Henny for the end zone. Caught for a touchdown. Mario Manningham's third of the first half.
Wow.
Perfectly thrown by Henny in the corner of the end zone. 22 yards to Manningham, who has the hat trick.
And that's 3 of them perfect throws. 3 perfect throws on those touchdowns, and tremendous pass protection for Chad Henne. Chad Henne had a lot of time to find his wide receiver, Mario Manningham. Boy, Manningham has just blown by twice those defensive backs, and then in the third time, kind of a little stutter step on a shorter pass for 20 yards. But it's been all Manningham and Henne.
Notre Dame's defense has been unable to stop Michigan on the ground or through the air as Rivas adds the extra point. And the route is on. The second-ranked Irish trailing Michigan in the first half, 34-7, with 2.5 minutes showing on the clock.
Well, Manningham has got 3 catches, 3 touchdowns. What percentage is that, Tom? That's pretty good, isn't it? I told him the second time he's beaten Terrell Lambert. Terrell Lambert actually has played pretty well as a nickelback for the Irish this year. But that's 2 on him. Manningham up here at the top. Again, it's that stutter step. Again, it's the twice he's done that same play against Lambert. The safeties just aren't getting over the top on those deep balls.
Shades of Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl.
Gave up 617 yards in that game. Such a big play. Manningham comes up with shaking his right arm. That'd be something for Michigan.
Well, the preseason knock you heard from all the pundits was that Notre Dame's defense was suspect. They didn't look like it their first 2 games. But in this game, the offense and the defense have been suspect.
Well, they played against a pretty hot quarterback and a defense that's really stuffed everything the Irish has tried.
Grimes with the kickoff return. David Grimes curling across the 25 to the 28-yard line. And don't forget, coming up at halftime, the Toyota halftime show. We'll go to Bob Costas, Chris Collinsworth, and Sterling Sharp back in New York. And, of course, Jerome Bettis will be here, a live 2-way with Jerome and the guys in New York. Charlie Weiss talks about his 2 Brady quarterbacks, Andrea Kramer, Peter King with NFL News, and halftime performances of both the Notre Dame and Michigan bands can be seen live on NBCSports.com. All that's coming up on the Toyota halftime show. Charlie Weiss had a conversation with Tom Brady of the Patriots this week, and Tom Brady's probably gloating a bit right now. Here's Carlson on a bubble screen and stuck by Dave Harris.
You know, the last 2 weeks, Brady Quinn in the first half has really led their team to a drive. 2 impressive drives. Last week he was 5 for 5 on a drive like this, but that's precisely what he needs now. But watch the middle linebacker, David Harris, just put a licking on the tight end Carlson right there.
Quinn to Samardzija, his first catch of the game, and it's short of a first down. He's swarmed by the secondary.
You're right, 5 jerseys count as a swarm.
Clock down to a minute 15.
Well, the Irish have all 3 of their timeouts remaining.
3rd down. And Brady Quinn keeps and manages to get ahead for the first down. That'll stop the clock momentarily with a minute 8.
Still plenty of time with a minute 8, 3 timeouts. Brady Quinn, your quarterback, and Charlie Weiss calling plays.
And Notre Dame will call a timeout because the clock does stop after the first down, but when it's marked ready for play, the clock is wound, is started, and so they do spend their first timeout after only their 2nd first down of the game.
Well, you know what the difference really, what the Wolverines have done so well. And first of all, they put a lot of pressure on Brady Quinn, and you back that up with some pretty good coverage by the corners. That leads to a 34-7 lead and a tough day for Brady Quinn.
And meanwhile, the Notre Dame defense can't stop the Wolverines.
Ron English, the defensive coordinator, has done a magnificent job getting his team ready and prepared for this game. Lloyd Carr changed both his coordinators. I think it took, it was kind of a happy, friendly place around Michigan for a long, long time, very provincial, but kind of went out and limb, changed his coaching staff. He's got a fiery defensive coordinator and an offensive coordinator in Mike DeBoard, who was the offensive coordinator when they won a national championship in 1997. So this is a different type of Michigan team.
DeBoard back to Ann Arbor after a stint as the head coach at Central Michigan.
So he brought that zone blocking from Central Michigan where they had a lot of success there.
First down, Notre Dame. Irish 38-yard line. They trail 34-7. I can hear the gasps at a lot of stadiums when that halftime score is announced. Quinn finds McKnight, makes a diving catch for a first down. Raymond McKnight for 15 yards.
You know, and I think Michigan has to be careful not to change their defensive strategy up too much. You know, that prevent defense, leave everything in front of you. But Brady Quinn's going to pick you apart. So they've been very, very good in the first half when they've attacked him. They'll keep doing it.
Quinn with protection, crossing route. McKnight catches his 2nd in a row. Tackled at the 35 by Hall. Clock stops with a first down.
Always getting those wideouts in because, again, that prevent coverage.
Clock starts, 40 seconds. Quinn whips it out to the sideline to Grimes. He makes a diving catch just beyond that yellow line, and they're going to spot the ball just behind it.
That's good for a first down.
They'll give him the first down there.
Don't you think, if you're Michigan, just kind of keep coming? I mean, they're just kind of laying off now and allowing a lot of easy completions for Brady Quinn.
Quinn, who hit only 3 of his first 13 pass attempts, is 5 for 5 on this drive as Michigan keeps everything in front of them.
Well, he's led the Irish to drives in the last moment of their first 2 games, trying to do it for the 3rd week in a row.
Well, down 34-7, it would be only 7, but what a lift it would give them before halftime. And Brady Quinn over there talking to his coach, and this is what Brady said about his head coach, Charlie Weiss.
I've benefited more than anyone else, possibly in the history of college football. You know, I feel the things he's taught me and the direction he's taken our football program, what he has done and what he has allowed our team to do, you know, in these past 18 months. And I think you know, he's given us the ability to do something special here in the future.
Yeah. And again, a halftime piece talking about Charlie Weiss, talking about both his Bradys, Tom Brady and Brady Quinn. You know, he has that incredible relationship with Tom Brady, but did you see one kind of developing with Brady Quinn now? You know, you need to have a special relationship when you're down 34-7.
And of course, Brady Quinn probably able to take the sometimes sarcastic criticism from his coach, because his mom, Robin, has been on his case forever.
Yeah.
From the 24, first down Irish, 31 seconds.
Samardzija right there, same side.
Quinn, plenty of time. Now scrambles, throws it, caught by Grimes. Grimes did a great job to keep a foot in bounds to make the reception for 20 yards. First and goal, Notre Dame.
You know, David Grimes is listed as their 3rd wide receiver, but when you play for Charlie Weiss, it's almost like another starter. Terrific concentration, good catch, got the right foot down.
Grimes now 3 catches for 40 yards. That play is being reviewed. It looked like he had his foot in. By the way, we should note that that last timeout was taken on defense by Michigan, so Notre Dame does have 2 left.
So another look. He's got possession, right foot down. That's a catch. Do you agree or disagree?
Yes, no, I agree.
Shouldn't take a lot of time. Good concentration. A guy that, as we said, the 3rd wide receiver, but in his Charlie Weiss's offense, that 3rd guy is going to get a lot of throws.
Grimes with his 3 catches, his first catches of the season.
He opened his, excuse me, Tom.
Last year he had a couple.
Michigan gets possession when the second half opens, but they're thinking at halftime, hey, let's control some more clock in that opening possession.
Video confirms that the play on the field stands. It is a catch. First and goal, Notre Dame.
Well, with 2 timeouts, you know, every play is still available, Tommy. You could still run it. You know, quarterback draw or use Darius Walker, still use one of those 2 timeouts you have.
Quinn is 6 for 6 on the drive. Play action fake. Quinn fires to the end zone, caught for the touchdown by Samardzija, who went over Trent to get it. The ball was kind of behind him, but he latches onto it for the Notre Dame touchdown.
2nd touchdown catch of the year for Jeff Samardzija, but a very opportune one for the Irish now, who have been struggling in this first half. Good play action fake. Look at the hands.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeff Samardzija makes the remarkable catches look easy, routine.
And Brady Quinn with a touchdown pass. He was 7 for 7 on that drive.
And last week he was 5 for 5 to end the first half on a drive for a touchdown.
Joya's extra point is good. With 20 seconds left in the half, Notre Dame finally finds its rhythm on offense.
Jeff Samardzija, 6'5" in height. We've talked about how versatile he is. This is not a terribly well thrown ball. He has to go back behind him and get it. Those strong hands, and Brady Quinn looking at his big receiver all the way. And he's going to look at the tape tomorrow and say, boy, I should have made that an easier catch for you. But nonetheless, it's a touchdown for the Irish. Brady Quinn running the 2-minute drill to perfection as he has for the last 3 weeks.
Notre Dame desperately in need of some good news. Scores with 20 seconds left in the half.
You know, I just think the Wolverines, though, they kind of changed their defense up a little bit. They had them on their heels.
Became a little passive.
Yeah.
Trying to keep everything in front of them.
You know, just to give you some perspective about Jeff Samardzija, he caught 15 touchdown passes last year. This year, Tim Brown in 4 years only caught 12, and the Rocket in 3 years only caught 4. Just tells you the kind of year that Jeff Samardzija had last season, and he's kind of building on that this season with now his second touchdown catch. Those are staggering numbers, aren't they?
Tim Brown was a Heisman winner.
Yeah.
Here's the Renkus kickoff. Carl Tabb chases it down over his shoulder. Momentum took him into the end zone, and he dives for the flag down to the 9-yard line.
Carl Tabb on the return, and we do have a flag down.
Well, the Wolverines have done just about everything right in this first half.
Sure have.
Really been impressed with the defensive tempo. Except for the last defensive drive, Lloyd Carr has to be awfully pleased. People didn't know how good they were after those 2 opening games, but it looks like a pretty sound offensive and defensive team.
Illegal block in the back on the kicking team, number 56. During the return, that's a 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Nick Borsetti, who's the most aggressive kick coverer for the Irish.
Yeah, Nick Borsetti's right there, I believe. You'll see him. Yeah, it's a good call, easy call.
In the block, in the back of Mike Hart.
Usually the first guy down on kickoff returns, and Michigan go into halftime, 34-14 lead.
First half comes to a close. The first half dominated by Lloyd Carr and the Wolverines. Coach Weiss and the Irish shocked early, then finally getting their rhythm on that touchdown drive with 20 seconds left in the half. And when Brady Quinn was able to hit all 7 of his passes. Let's go to Lewis.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Did you imagine you'd come into South Bend and hold Notre Dame offensively and defensively the way you have here?
Well, I don't have much imagination.
Okay, well, how about giving them the touchdown there toward the end of the first half? Are you afraid of giving them a bit more of momentum going into the locker room?
Well, we just got to come out and play 30 minutes of great football.
All right, Coach, thanks. Tom?
All right, Lewis. So the Wolverines shocking the Irish here at halftime. The score, Michigan 34 and Notre Dame 14. Plenty ahead, though. Bob Costas, Chris Collinsworth, Sterling Sharp back in our New York studio. They'll have a live two-way with Jerome Bettis. He'll be talking to the guys in New York. Charlie Weiss will talk about his 2 Brady quarterbacks, Tom Brady and Brady Quinn. Andrea Kramer and Peter King will be along with NFL news. Plus, halftime performances of both Notre Dame and Michigan bands can be seen live on NBCSports.com. Stay tuned for the Toyota Halftime Show with our Football Night in America crew after these messages from your local NBC station. Ready to start the second half with Michigan up 34-14. A couple of moments ago, Lewis talked with Coach Charlie Weiss.
Coach, what happened in the first half?
We did just about everything you could do wrong, we did do wrong. Interception for a touchdown, fumble on a kickoff return, couldn't stop the inside run, got hit on a deep ball, couldn't convert a first down on third down. You know, obviously we got a little gas in our tank with that touchdown right before halftime. We got to work it out for us.
All right, Coach, thanks.
All right, take care.
An understatement that they have their work cut out for them. First 7 possessions, Notre Dame had only 1 first down and 35 yards on that last drive. They did get 5 first downs, covered 72 yards. Renkus with the second half kickoff to Michigan. Sears fields and dragged down from behind, short of the 20-yard line. Good coverage that time by the Notre Dame special teams players. Casey Cullen pulled him down. Time now for our Charles Schwab conversation. And Pat, adjustments in this second half.
Well, I think, you know, the one adjustment is this opening drive. I think it's really important for Michigan. I mean, they just can't go into shell. They still need some balance, as you see. You can't just hand the ball off. And then for Notre Dame, I think they've got to get the ball to Samardzija and McKnight as they did that last drive. They only caught 4 passes in the first half.
Well, big for the Notre Dame defense, too. They have to prove they can stop Michigan, which they haven't yet. Throw it to Breston in the flat. Goes one-on-one, draws a crowd. And Dukwe.
Good run by Steve Breston, wasn't it, after the catch? Got hit and just kind of bowled his way for about 4 more yards. And that's what I like. You know, don't go into a shell. You've got a 34-14 lead with some balance. Chad Henne's throwing the ball well. That wasn't a high-risk pass, almost like a run, and they picked up 6 or 7 yards.
And they got it into the hands of their playmaker, Steve Breston, capable of breaking one. Hart. Looks like he has a first down as he crosses the 30-yard line. Zibikowski in hot pursuit. But there's an initial first down of the second half by Michigan when Notre Dame had to call on their defense to make some big plays, and in 2 plays, Michigan picks up a first.
And they run left right over Jake Long, that big old left tackle, and you hand the ball to Mike Hart. There he is, Jake Long, a left-handed play, big, powerful guy. When he gets on you, he just stays on you. It's hard to slip his block.
Hart in the backfield, tackled for a loss. Avi Amiri had him in his tracks. Hart tried to put a move on him. Avi Amiri would have none of it. The big senior from Randallstown, Maryland.
Yeah, Victor Avi Amiri is a guy that really is off to a very good start. Number 95 this year. Hurt early in last year. Didn't play particularly well because of some health issues. He would have gotten a face mask there. Let's see if he got away with it. I think he got away with a face mask. Call on Mike Hart.
No flag. Second down and 15. Timeout, Michigan. 1 second on the play clock, and Chad Henne has to use his first timeout here early in the third quarter. Lloyd Carr not happy about that. Michigan facing second and long when we return to Notre Dame Stadium. The 2 winningest teams of all time, Michigan and Notre Dame, locked up at Notre Dame Stadium. Today's game brought to you by Coke Zero.
Remember the first half, Mario Manningham, after he caught his 3rd touchdown pass, goes into the band, the tuba section, and comes out holding his right wrist. And he wasn't in on that last play because they had it all wrapped up. And he wasn't on the field, and I don't think he's out there now.
Second down and 15. Breston in motion. Henne hit as he delivers the ball incomplete. Intended for Olivo, his fullback. Chris Fromm had him around the ankles. Let's go to Lewis.
Tom, you and Pat were talking about Mario Manningham, the star of the show for Michigan in the first half with 3 touchdowns. He was the last guy out of the tunnel, had a temporary cast on his right wrist. When he got to the sideline, he was begging and pleading with the trainers. You can see him right now pacing like a cat, begging to get in, but so far they've not allowed Manningham to go into the field with that right cast on his wrist.
Going to take it off right there. Third down and 15. Draw play, Hart. And the Irish finally stop him, but not until he got some of that yardage back across the 35 to the 36-yard line. It'll be 4th down for Michigan.
You know, I don't think that's a bad call at all. You know, up 34-14, punt the ball away. You're playing some good defense. The only thing Lloyd Carr has to worry about, he talked to us this week about it, is Tom Zibikowski as a punt returner. He was saying how unusual a punt returner Zibikowski is because he's so big. You know, he's 210 pounds and makes guys miss and then breaks a bunch of tackles.
Zoltan Mesko to punt. This is end over end. Zibikowski. Oh, what coverage by Michigan. Perfectly done by the Wolverines. They hit Zibikowski in his tracks. And that was Stevie Brown that prevented the return by Zibikowski. Only 3 yards on the return. Punt covered 33. Notre Dame has the ball for the first time in the second half. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero. Real Coke taste, 0 calories. Enjoy Cokeness. By Toyota. Choose any direction as long as it's forward. Toyota, moving forward. And by Vonage. Aerial view of Notre Dame Stadium and the University of Notre Dame campus. Aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear Silent Armor, featuring a layer made with Kevlar for rugged toughness and a comfortable ride. Tom Hammond, Pat Hayden, Lewis Johnson, Notre Dame Stadium. Second-ranked Fighting Irish trailing 11th-ranked Michigan 34-14. Irish with the ball for the first time in the second half, hoping to build on the momentum of the touchdown they scored with 20 seconds left in the first. Quinn swings complete, and Walker dropped it.
Second down.
Hey, how about this development, Tom? Mario Manningham walking off after that first series, going back into the locker room.
That's the man that scored 3 times against Notre Dame in that first half. They couldn't stop him.
3 catches, 3 touchdowns. Went right into the Tubas section, and that was it. Darn Tubas.
Tubas can be dangerous. Second down and 10. McKnight trapped around the ankles by Morgan Trent. Short of the 40-yard line and short of a first down.
Well, the strong right arm of, if they're going to get back in, it's going to be on the right arm of Brady Quinn. Again, a little bit behind McKnight, almost hurt that left knee. It was, remember, it was last year that he injured his knee against this Michigan team. He missed most of the season.
A real awkward position, but still out there. Quinn's pass tipped and incomplete, intended for McKnight. Alan Branch, 6'6", 331 pounds, tipped the ball. This was the McKnight injury last year at the Big House against Michigan. And after that injury in the second game of the season, he missed the rest of the campaign, petitioned for another year of eligibility, and got it back for his 5th year, the senior from Inglewood, California. Price punting to Breaston. Fair catch called and made at the 13-yard line. 49-yard punt with no return, but each team goes 3 and out on its first possession of the second half. The score remains Wolverines 34 and the Irish 14. Well, next weekend here on NBC, it's the Olympics of golf, the Ryder Cup from Ireland. Tiger's been winning everything in sight. Interesting to see how he'll do. He hasn't played that well in the past in Ryder Cup action. Ryder Cup next week on NBC. And speaking of the Ryder Cup, how about Avani's Ryder Cup moment? 2004, Oakland Hills Country Club. Colin Montgomery maintained his record of never losing in 7 Ryder Cup singles matches with his one-up victory over David Toms. 4-foot putt on the 18th gave the European side their 14.5 points, securing victory. The 9-point domination of the U.S., Europe's largest margin of victory in Ryder Cup history.
It'll be an emotional European team. Darren Clark named as one of the captains' pick. Actually known as the Golf Olympics, the Ryder Cup.
From the 13-yard line. Notre Dame's defense needs to hold them down here deep in their own territory. The Wolverines, Chad Henne changing the play. Here's that zone blocking front wall, and he faked it. Henne has it.
Oh, good play.
And throws for Breaston, and he is absolutely, or Matthews it was, absolutely leveled by Ambrose Wooden.
Ambrose Wooden was laying in the weeds for that play. Ambrose Wooden saw him crossing. He was playing the zone on the far side, saw the crossing weight and crossing route, and was just absolutely waiting for him to arrive. Ambrose Wooden hurt too on that play.
Yeah. Greg Matthews, the freshman receiver from Orlando, Florida.
Manningham out. Matthews down.
Like you said, Wooden took a little of the worst of it too after making the hit. He was a little groggy. And they're trying to see if he wants to stay on the field. He's going to come off as well. Wooden will go out, replaced by Darren Walls, a freshman from Pittsburgh. And Matthews still down. Violent collision.
Well, you know, he went for the hit. I thought maybe he may have tried to pick that pass off. I was watching him. He was looking at this play develop for a long time. Went after the hit, got the big hit, but it may have been able to slip in front of Matthews with an interception.
Chad Henne looking on. Matthews with 1 catch on the season.
Greg Matthews being picked coming off the field.
Well, Chad Henne will be working against a freshman corner, Darren Walls. Highly thought of by the Irish, but a guy that is going to be tested by these fleet wide receivers.
Walls, number 2, wide to the top of your screen now, shifting sides, coming toward the near side.
Right there.
Second down and 10. Breaston in motion. Henne, short drop, gets it to Breaston. He goes one-on-one with the freshman and gets by him for a first down.
Yeah, you know, that's good game planning. They go right after the freshman, Darren Walls.
And a flag, late flag, maybe for a hit out of bounds.
Good call by Mike DeBoer, the offensive coordinator. Sees the starter of the quarter go out, Ambrose Wooden. Looks at the replacement, sees Darren Walls, as talented as he is, he's still a true freshman. Get the ball out to your playmaker.
Number 18 of the defense, late hit, out of bounds. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
We're going to call it on 18 in Dukeway. There he beats Walls, just bad angle. He's out of bounds. And it's a late hit. He was clearly out of bounds by about 4 yards. Didn't hit it violently, but you know,
still a late hit.
Yeah,
clearly out of bounds. And just like that, Michigan's out of the hole. 36-yard line, Wolverines with a first down. Again, a short drop, and they get it to Breaston. What a play, one-on-one, Mike Richardson.
Good tackling this season by Mike Richardson. Saw it last week, saw it today. Even against Georgia Tech as well.
Clock just under 10 and a half minutes, third quarter.
Richardson was recruited by Ty Willingham when Ty was still at Stanford. He was on his way to Stanford when Ty came to Notre Dame. Mike Richardson followed him.
NBCSports.com, your home for all the Notre Dame coverage, the Vonage postgame report. Hart stacked up. The defense looks to be playing that run better than they did the first half. Andy Amiri hit him and held on, and then Maurice Crum Jr. got him.
Well, how about Victor Abiamiri? We had a chance to talk to Victor yesterday. He was talking about how Coach Weiss was saying, hey, go watch some tape. Right down here, I think he is. There he is. Go watch some tape of Michael Strahan. See how to play the game. He said Strahan was such a relentless player. That's what I took from watching that tape.
Third down and 11. Henne with protection now, breaks down and he's sacked. Trevor Laws. Henne had protection for a moment. It broke down in the sack.
But you know what? And that was, you know, one of those third down sacks that Chad Henne's had we talked about. But that was a good one. Tom, again, knowing the state of the game. Up by 20 points. Don't throw it late down the middle. It was a double zone defense. Outside guys taken away. He was looking for something over the middle. But said, hey, bring my punt team in. Let's play some more good defense. There's such a thing as a good sack. That was one.
Mesko to punt. There's a funny left-footed spiral to it, and Zbikowski will let it go out of bounds.
Zbikowski really hasn't had a chance to return one yet.
They've nullified the talented Irish returner. Henne and the Wolverines up big. Upset brewing in South Bend, 34-14 Michigan. Notre Dame's football. Lloyd Carr and Charlie Weiss locked up. Last year, Weiss and the Irish went to the big house and upset Michigan. Wolverines trying to return the favor. And Lloyd Carr trying to win a road opener. I think he's lost his first 6. Pitch it to Walker. Cut back, picking his way forward. Stopped at the 29-yard line by Morgan Trent. The Irish need to get something going on offense. With the situation the way it is, they can't just afford to trade possessions with the Wolverines.
Tackle was made by Morgan Trent, number 14.
Alan Branch inside has had a pretty good game. Number 80 for the Michigan Wolverines. Big old guy, 6'6", 331 pounds. And, you know, for an inside guy, he puts a lot of pressure on quarterbacks. Had 5 sacks a year ago. And then in the first 2 games this year, he's forced fumbles.
Darius Walker, 9 carries, 24 yards. Quinn stands in the pocket, gets it to Walker out of the backfield. Twisted down after a gain of 1 by Dave Harris.
That's another good tackle by David Harris. He has been their leading tackler after their first 2 games. And stop Sam Young against Lamar Woodley. It's the freshman Sam Young, all 6'7", 292 pounds against him, against the guy who leads the NCAA in sacks in Lamar Woodley, and Sam Young does a pretty nice job there.
3rd down and 6 from their own 30-yard line.
3 starts for Young, 3 good outings for Sam Young, and Lamar Woodley with 4 sacks on the year. Big down here for the Irish.
From the shotgun, Brady Quinn goes over the top, and it's picked off.
I guess who?
Burgess, who had a touchdown on an interception earlier. Burgess stopped at the 5-yard line, caught by Raymond McKnight from behind after his 2nd interception. He brought it back 34 yards, 1st and goal, Michigan. And what was Brady Quinn looking at?
Well, Tom, there was really good coverage there because Brady Quinn had plenty of time, and he was hit as he released. So that ball didn't have any juice on it whatsoever. That caused the interception. You always talk about, hey, coverage sacks. There's a learning coaching moment going on there, but great coverage by the Wolverines. See how much time he has? And then he throws it late. He's hit as he throws. And the ever-present linebacker, Prescott Burgess, makes his 2nd big interception.
He got his arm hit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just talking about Alan Branch, how strong he is. He forced 2 fumbles in the first 2 games and caused an interception there.
1st and goal, Wolverines. Hart, the tailback, gets the handoff. Hit and driven back by Landry.
Michigan can't get satisfied here. I think they need to really be thinking about 7 points. Even with this 34-14 lead, just, don't get too complacent. Don't get too conservative.
3 Irish turnovers today, 2 of them by Burgess on the interceptions, and 1 fumble recovery of a kickoff by David Grimes.
Well, this is the team that didn't have a turnover in their first 2 games.
Henny. Arrington. Defended by Wooden.
Not quite the same as throwing into Mario Manningham, is it?
Not quite.
And just to give you a sense about how turnovers play in these games, over the last, you look at Arrington again on the fade route against Wooden. Wooden got real good body control, body position on him.
So now it's 3rd down. 3rd and goal from the Irish 4. Stopped at the 3-yard line. It'll be 4th down.
Kick it, right? Kick the field goal.
Yep. Maurice Crum Jr. made that touchdown-saving tackle as the field goal unit comes out.
Well, you mentioned he's had, 2 kicks or 2 extra points blocked this year, 1 today. This would be an opportune time for the Irish to get a hand up.
Yeah, actually, it was an extra point block today and a field goal block earlier in the season. He's hit 4 of 5.
Pretty good percentage for that many kicks, 76%.
This one, a 20-yarder. Rivas kicks it up and through.
That kick is good.
So the interception results in 3 Michigan points as Rivas hits the field goal. The 2nd interception of the game by linebacker Preston Burgess sets up the Michigan field goal. And the Wolverines extend their lead now to 37-14 with 5 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. We'll take a break. Notre Dame football brought to you by Coke Zero. 37-14 Michigan. Mario Manningham, who scored 3 touchdowns today, back on the sideline. He was injured, and left the field. There he is back playing catch over there now with his right wrist taped up.
And Chad Henne's happy to have him back. Well, the Irish need a big special teams play.
Ryan with a kickoff. David Grimes. Grimes slammed to the turf around the 30-yard line. And Michigan with the big lead. The last time the Wolverines won at Notre Dame Stadium, 1994. Ron Paulus hit Derek Mays to give the Irish a 24-23 lead with 46 seconds left. But Michigan quarterback Todd Collins drove the Wolverines into field goal range. And then Remy Hamilton connected from 42 yards out as time expired to give Michigan a 26-24 lead.
Remy Hamilton still kicking well in the football league.
Quinn hit and dropped as he lets it go. And the momentum carries McKnight, the intended receiver, out of bounds, as well as the football. And Quinn took a shot, comes up with sod in his helmet.
Well, I tell you, how many shots do we see Brady Quinn take, particularly his freshman and sophomore year, Tom? Hasn't been as much last year, but he takes one right there from Crable, Sean Crable, one of the linebackers. And, I've never really seen Brady Quinn come out of a game after taking a shot like that. He's such a tough guy. He just gets right back up.
He's in the shotgun. Second down. Draw play. Walker. Nothing doing. Dave Harris.
Dave Harris had a good day in the middle. Came in as their leading tackler after 2 games. And, well, I thought, the Irish were going to test those linebackers in space, but, boy, they have responded. David Harris, Prescott Burgess, who's had a couple of interceptions, and you just saw Sean Crable a moment ago.
Darius Walker came into the game averaging nearly 4 yards a carry. He's averaging 2.5 today. Quinn to McKnight, overshoots him. He was behind the defense.
Well, Brady's
Quinn missed him.
Just off. Brady Quinn just off. Wide open Raymond McKnight down the sideline. Good protection there. He did get hit late, but followed through. But you see he's open by a good, 6-8 yards?
Yeah.
He can't believe it.
Notre Dame will punt one more time. Jeff Price. Steve Breston has a beat on it, takes it at the 10. Trying to get to the outside. Maurice Crum turns him back, but misses the tackle. Flag down. And Breston is knocked out of bounds after a 16-yard return. The punt boomed 59.
It kind of seems like every time Steve Breston returns a punt, something good's going to happen if you're a Wolverine fan. He's returned 3 punts for touchdowns. And even though that one didn't take that one to the end zone, it had its moments.
Maurice Crum, perhaps a face mask here. Notre Dame, Pat, 7 punts, 6 first downs. With that huddle, you see. Tough afternoon for Brady Quinn.
You go through those, Tom. It's how you respond. And he's had some tough games.
During the return, face mask, 5-yard penalty, number 40 of the kicking team. The 5-yard penalty would be added to the end of the run. First down.
Just to kind of finish the thought of Brady Quinn, he just really fought through some bad games early in his career. There's the face mask on Maurice Crum.
Let it go, so only got the 5-yard call. Well, how bad has the Notre Dame offense been today? More punts than first downs, and 8 of their 11 possessions have been 3 and out or worse. And interceptions on a couple of occasions. Hart tried to cut back and was stopped in his tracks.
Well, it's been a tough day for Brady Quinn. We just talked about his numbers, 12 of 27, thrown 2 interceptions, 1 for a big one. Here's a Prescott Burgess, number 6. This was the opening drive. Well thrown ball this time by Quinn. Burgess right in the right spot. There he is again, playing his inside linebacker position. And again, a good rush by Alan Branch. The ball popped up, and Burgess gets his second. Well, they've scored 17 points from turnovers.
Just over 3 minutes left in the third. Hart.
Well, he's a hard little runner, isn't he?
Just chugging ahead, carrying tacklers with him. Zibikowski finally jumped on with Landry and others.
I thought Lloyd Cora said some interesting things when we were talking to him about Mike Hart. He said, he's not a good player. He said he's a great player. Maybe one of the best players I've ever coached here. Lloyd Cora coached some good ones there at Michigan.
25 carries, 87 yards for Hart today.
Yeah, and a lot of clock eaten up, right?
And it's down to 2.5 with a 3rd down and 2. And Manningham is back on the field. Mario Manningham. Henny. Manningham with a catch.
Well, it's his 4th catch. At least he didn't score.
Lambert's defending, but a gain of 26 as Mr. Clutch today. Mario Manningham, the sophomore from Warren, Ohio.
You know, Tom, we were talking this week to Mike DeBoer, the offensive coordinator, about Manningham. He said, you know, he had that nice freshman year last year, but he's got so much more stamina this year. He said as a freshman, he kind of wore himself out, couldn't play the length of the game. But they're expecting a lot bigger things out of him this year. He's played brilliantly today.
Freshman All-American last year. Today, 4 catches, 137 yards, 3 touchdowns. Backup running back Kevin Grady gets the call. Stopped by Ndukwe.
Kevin Grady on the
And the clock continues to roll now under 2 minutes in the 3rd.
We're kind of out-Weissing the Irish. This is what Charlie Weiss likes to do, just kind of run that clock. And he's had time of possession advantage of 8.5 minutes over their opponents in their first 2 games. But now Michigan has turned the table.
Henny finds a man after looking 2 different directions. It's Arrington.
Boy, they came with the blitz and just got there too late. And Jake Long, the left tackle, picked up one of the blitzing corners. I think it was Mike Richardson to give Chad Henne the chance. Watch over here in the right part of the screen. He kind of picks up that free corner that allows his quarterback, Henne, to find Arrington for a 1st down. Good blitz pickup by Jake Long.
Gain of 16 yards. Today's 1st down line presented by Xerox. From the Irish 16, 1st down Wolverines. They've dominated today's game. Here's Grady.
You know, Tom, we've talked so much about Jake Long and that kind of a powerful guy he is. And had a chance to talk to him this week. You know, last year he was injured a lot with a bad ankle. 2 years before that, I think it was his freshman year, sophomore year, he was in a house fire with 8 of his roommates. Had to jump out of a 2nd story of his dorm room there, or house that he was renting off campus, and landed on a truck.
Yeah, he said, we asked how the truck was.
Yeah, truck did fine, he said. But nobody was injured in that.
Yeah, no one injured in that fire, thankfully. Play action fake, and Henny's going for the touchdown. Had a man wide open, Breaston, and missed him.
Well, you know, the first 2 games you didn't see a lot of wide open receivers against this Notre Dame defense, but today they've had some guys run open. And Chad Henne, you know, you only, as a quarterback, you only get so many of those in your career, and that's a mystery.
Well, he had missed many today.
No, he has. He has been 13 of 21, 220 yards, 3 touchdowns. After throwing an early interception. See the tattoo there on his right arm. Got that in 8th grade, believe it or not. His mom and dad took him down to the tattoo parlor. And
his mom got one too?
His mom got one as well.
Henne given time. Breaston dropped it.
Yeah, Chad Henne's putting the ball right on the numbers. The ball that should have been caught, would have been a 1st down. Now the field goal team comes out. That may have been a score if Breaston catches it.
Put it right there.
Yeah, can't throw it any better.
So field goal attempt. Rivas hit one earlier. In fact, the last possession by the Wolverines, it was 20 yards. This one, 33-yard attempt. So Rivas attempts his 2nd field goal of the game and nails it.
It is good. Michigan 40.
And that'll be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Lloyd Carr and the Wolverines play Notre Dame to a standoff in that 3rd, get a couple of field goals to add to their lead. At the end of 3, it's 40-14 Wolverines. We'll return to Notre Dame Stadium after these messages from your local NBC station. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC, presented by Vonage. Gronkowski's 18-12 overture sounds a little off-key this afternoon as the Irish being thoroughly whipped by the Wolverines of Michigan 40-14. Notre Dame does not have a first down in the second half. That third quarter without a first down. Brady Quinn was 2 of 7 for 7 yards and an interception in the third quarter. First play of the fourth quarter will be the Michigan kickoff by Ross Ryan. West and Grimes, the deep man. Dropped by Grimes, who fumbled one earlier that resulted in a Michigan touchdown. Covers that one in the end zone for the touchback, and Quinn, you see his numbers, 12 of 27, 92 yards. 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions.
You know, Tom, it's he had his worst game of the year last year against Michigan when he threw for, I think it was 140 yards.
And the big 3, Walker, 10 rushes, 2 of 25 yards. Samardzija, 2 receptions. Quinn gets it to Walker. Got away from the first man with a nifty move. That was Morgan Trent, but he sidestepped, and then Brandon Harrison chased him down.
Yeah, he's never in a hurry, is he, Tom? Even when the team down 40-14, just got those eyes up, good vision, good receiver. Although he's dropped one today. When he caught 7 passes last week, 5 catches against the Wolverines a year ago. He's kind of a multi-dimensional guy as his father looks on.
Initial first down of the second half comes in the fourth quarter for the Irish. Quinn underneath. Tight end Carlson.
That's John Carlson's second catch of the game, and he's had such a big game last week when he caught 6 passes, 98 yards, caught a bunch of balls in traffic. Kind of a tip ball early in the game really set the tone for the day for the Wolverines.
For that career high. A poor day today. 2 catches that Pat mentioned. Swing pass to Walker out of the backfield. Taken down at the 40. That'll be a flag for a hit out of bounds by Sean Crable. Give an assist to the fans on that one.
They haven't given up their hope yet. Sean Crable's had a pretty good day as a linebacker. They put him down in a stance and rush the passer on 3rd and long situations, but clear penalty there as he hit Darius Walker out of bounds.
Personal foul, number 56 of the defense. Late hit, out of bounds.
Yeah,
15-yard penalty from the end of the run.
Lamar
First
Woodley.
down.
Lamar Woodley, not Sean Crable. There he is. I didn't really see him by that play. I thought it was Sean Crable. Lloyd Carr saying, "Hey, use your head." That's definitely not 56. That's Sean Crable.
Only the 3rd time today, Notre Dame in Michigan territory. Slant pass, Grimes holds on despite the hit. Hit from Trent.
Morgan Trent really got the start at corner today. Charles Stewart had started for the Wolverines in the opening game. Morgan Trent, a converted wide receiver, made a good play there.
8-yard gain, 2nd down. Quinn's pass, short hops. Raymond McKnight.
And Prescott Burgess in the face of Brady Quinn. And that caused the underthrow. Prescott Burgess has had a really good game in the passing game. He's intercepted the 2, but a lot of times he's been in the face of Brady Quinn as well. It's at least the 3rd time.
But you know what? Quinn unloaded that ball before Burgess hit him. He just was short with it. Short hopped his man. Maybe he saw him coming.
They can feel that rush sometimes. Right. They don't get into the throw as much, and that's how you throw them into the dirt.
From the shotgun. Quinn going down the sideline for McKnight. And broken up by Leon Hall.
great timing by Leon Hall. How many times over the last year and a half have we seen these Notre Dame receivers out jump guys? But Leon Hall, the senior from Vista, California, he's got 9 career interceptions. Perfectly played. Saw that ball all the way. Made a perfect jump. You know, Ron English's defensive coordinator thinks he's the best corner in the country. Nice season last year in the Big Ten, and looking hopefully to be an All-American this year.
Yeah, 3-year starter, second team All-Big Ten last year. Honorable mention in his first year. 4th down. Samardzija made the man miss in the backfield and picks up the first down, and a penalty flag comes sailing in. Harrison Biggs tracked down Jeff Samardzija, but not until he made the 4th down reception for the first.
Another one of those unusual calls, really, by Charlie Weiss on 4th and 3 to throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage, hoping that Jeff Samardzija could break a tackle.
Number 5, offense.
Just like Georgia Tech game.
10-yard penalty, spot of the foul, repeat, 4th down.
The same play in the Georgia Tech game. Remember that, Tom?
When he was called for a hold. 4th down conversion nullified on the McKnight hold. McKnight on the right of your screen right there, locked up.
I'm not sure that was holding.
Not sure either.
So it will be 4th and 9.
So now it's 4th down and 9 from the Michigan 43. On 4th and 9, open for a moment was McKnight, and he was interfered with. That'll be an interference penalty against the Wolverines.
And see, Charlie, he didn't pay attention. He just said, hey, we're going to get a first down. Let's get the next play call. In and out of the huddle. Just call in plays.
Ryan Mundy called for interference here.
Pass interference, number 21, defense. That's a 15-yard penalty with an automatic first down.
Yep.
Clearly arrived before the ball.
Is it catchable?
Interesting point.
My first of the year?
I think your first one's early. I think it was probably catchable.
Well, these guys are such athletes these days, these wide receivers. Virtually everything's catchable.
First down for the Irish, 28-yard line of Michigan, but the clock down to 12:47. Pumps once, Quinn to the end zone. And that's going to be a holding call, won't it? That's the flag.
It should have been, yeah.
McKnight, well, he caught the ball, so touchdown anyway. Morgan Trent had, had McKnight wrapped up.
You know, I thought it was a penalty on Morgan Trent, though, too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The flag is definitely down. You know, they tried Leon Hall. That didn't work. So Charlie Weiss says, let's try the other corner, Morgan Trent. And what a spectacular catch by Raymond McKnight. Everything's fine there. No penalties.
Interference, number 14 in the
just
defense.
didn't get his head turned.
Little do-si-do there.
Well, I don't know.
Well, look at that. I just don't know how he came up with the ball. He took it right away from Trent for the touchdown. Wow.
But couldn't you say that Raymond McKnight pushed off that defensive back as well? I mean, they called it on Trent for sure, but I thought they were both shoved.
Joya, the extra point attempt. And it's good. And that narrows the count to 40-21 with McKnight, a miraculous catch. They're locked up. And into the end zone, somehow McKnight up for the football.
Great catch.
Notre Dame football brought to you by Coke Zero. 12:41 left. The Notre Dame touchdown makes it 40-21 Michigan. And don't forget, once today's game ends, NBCSports.com will have the live Vonage Notre Dame postgame report. Be able to hear the press conferences live. Charlie Weiss in the press conference ought to be worth the price of admission on that one. The opposing coach also will be at the podium. Game highlights and all the post-game coverage. Here's Rinkus for the kickoff. No onside attempt. And returned by Sears. Broke a tackle and advanced it to the 23-yard line where he's tackled by Ray Herring.
Last week we listened to Charlie Weiss's post-game conference. It's pretty interesting. He's so on tune of all the things that happen immediately after the game. I mean, he's already got his coaching points for the next week. I promise you. When you hear him in the post-game press conference.
Also hear from Lloyd Carr. The Wolverine coach is telling us we're not sure what we have. We'll find out this week. Well, big thumbs up so far for the Wolverines. 40-21 leaders right now with 12-11 on the clock.
Yeah, the Irish can get 3 and out and force a punt and get a score. They have something going. That's not going to happen.
They're not going to let Hart get to the outside.
No.
And Duquay chases him down from behind. But Hart with a big gain on first down.
And over 100 yards goes Mike Hart. 107 yards on the day. Tyler Eckert, the tight end, a big block for Mike Hart.
And a gain of 20 yards.
Watch up there, number 89. Just kind of, and that zone blocking locks up on number 40, Maurice Crum. And then Hart gets around Crum to pick up the first down and go over 100 yards. They're 11-1 when he goes over 100 yards in a game.
There he is again. Hit hard and dropped this time. And Duquay and Richardson came up. And Talley was there.
Mike Hart, the strong inside runner that we've seen. We've seen him bounce it outside. He's got the Michigan record. He's got 4 200-yard plus games in his career. And, they don't mind just feeding him the ball. 27 carries on the day. Michigan State comes back and beats Pittsburgh.
No, beats Youngstown State. They're beating them. Here's Hart. Broke 2 tackles, close to a first down.
And a good example of that zone blocking. It's like the Rockettes up there in the offensive line, Tom. Watch all these guys go here, and then he's just going to pick his way right behind them. Everybody steps in one direction. It's different than most runs where you have a pulling guard and a lead blocker. Everybody, just all the offensive linemen kind of step in one direction, like a real, choreographed dance, and then the offensive running back just kind of picks a spot.
Hart on the sideline on this 3rd and 1 with Kevin Grady in there along with Carlos Brown. Here's Grady. Hit and dropped behind the line for a loss on 3rd down as Mitchell Thomas got penetration for the Irish defense.
Well, Michigan will be forced to punt, but I'd use the clock out and run the 25-second clock. Use as much clock as you can, or force Notre Dame to call a timeout, because a 5-yard penalty doesn't hurt you here, right? Good defensive penetration by the guys up front. Derek Landry, Trevor Laws forced to punt.
4th down and 4, and Ryan Ross will punt this one. Mesko has been punting most of the game. In fact, every punt of the game so far.
There's still 10 seconds left on the play clock. Snapped it too early.
And got it away. Zibikowski, fair catch called.
You see that often, do you?
Not often. He takes it at the 16-yard line, where the Irish offense will take the field. 9:19 on the clock. 40-21 Wolverines. Dome, the administration building at the University of Notre Dame. Our aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear Silent Armor, featuring a layer made with Kevlar for rugged toughness and a comfortable ride. Beautiful campus, beautiful shot from the Goodyear blimp. 40-21. Everything beautiful for Michigan here, a little south of their border. The winner of this game will be the all-time leader in winning percentage in college football. Michigan is there now, barely over Notre Dame. Brady Quinn needs some points in a hurry. Chased from the pocket and dragged down at the 11-yard line. Second sack of the day for Crable.
Sean Crable, a guy that really, Lloyd Carr would say, we don't really have linebackers that big, or have not had linebackers that big that are that fast. 6'5", 241 pounds. You saw his closing speed right there.
Second down pass. Quinn off target on Darius Walker.
Third down.
So a third down deep in their own territory for Quinn and the Irish. It's been a tough afternoon for Notre Dame. Their national title aspirations and Brady Quinn's Heisman aspirations taking a big hit here.
But give Michigan all the credit.
Oh, yeah,
I don't think it was necessarily Notre Dame's doing. It was a good game plan by Michigan. They've executed it perfectly, so Lloyd Carr and his staff really deserve the credit.
It has been a thorough and total beating. Notre Dame has converted only 1 of 10 on third down. And they got that one. That's Carlson.
Yeah.
Those big paws, despite being double teamed, latch onto it for 32 yards. There's a third down conversion, much needed by the Irish.
Boy, you talk about squeezing one in there, because he was absolutely covered by, I think it was number 6, Burgess again. Great athlete John Carlson was in high school, football, basketball, even tennis.
His dad was his basketball coach and his tennis coach and the offensive coordinator on his football team in Litchfield, Minnesota. McKnight was wide open, dropped it. Just dropped it. What can you say?
Well, Charlie Weiss is going to say something about it. He talked to Lewis Johnson at halftime, said, we did a lot of things wrong in that first half. Well, it kind of continues. Wide open for a big play. He was clearly looking at the defensive back, trying to catch it before he really secured it, and he was going to be trying to cut back and get to the end zone.
They have not been sharp today. That's taking nothing away from the Michigan performance, which has been superb. That time, McKnight able to hold on despite the hit from Trent.
That's what Charlie Weiss likes to do, Tom. We talked about it. The guy drops the ball. He likes to go right back to him. If the guy were to fumble, he likes to hand the ball to him again. If a quarterback throws an interception, he likes to come back and give his quarterback a chance to get that out of his mind again. So
14 yards, first down. Quinn has to get rid of it. Short underneath the Walker. A sure tackle made by Harrison.
That's a good point, Tom. You talked about sure tackling. Your second good point this year, by the way. But sure tackling. This Michigan team have really been sure tacklers today. They haven't seen a lot of the yards after catch plays that you see so often.
Well, they had the interception, but it's been mostly mistake-free football by the Wolverines, as they've dominated both sides of the football. Quinn flushed from the pocket, goes back across the grain, and was it intercepted? Yes, it was. Leon Hall picks it off for Michigan.
His 10th career interception. And what a day Leon Hall's had. He's one of those guys that have actually been shutting down Samardzija and Raymond McKnight.
Always dangerous. And there it is, picked off his 3rd interception of the game.
You see why Ron English, the defensive coordinator, is so high on his senior corner.
Another Notre Dame turnover, and Michigan will have the ball with a big lead. Brady Quinn, after going 143 passes without an interception, has now thrown 3 in his last 36 attempts. Notre Dame will go on the road to face unbeaten Michigan State next week. Spartans winners over Pitt today. And Michigan will face Wisconsin in the Big Ten game. Mike Hart.
Who would you rather have carrying the ball right now than Mike Hart, a guy who just does not fumble?
What a weapon to have. Give it to him, work on the clock, and you know he's not going to turn it over.
He came into the game with 469 touches without losing a fumble coming in today's game, and you can add 29 more today.
Notre Dame calls timeout with 6:39 on the clock. Darius Walker, who had 100-yard rushing games in each of his first 2 meetings against Michigan, held today to 25 yards rushing. And while we have a break, let's take a look now at our Coke Zero offensive play of the game.
Well, I think it's going to involve Mr. Manningham, wouldn't you? This is one of 3 touchdown catches Mario had the first half. Beautiful throw by Henne into the van. Actually injured his right wrist on that play, but came back to play after that. Oh boy, he's had a good freshman year. He's had freshman All-American. Off to a terrific start in his sophomore year. It's now 4 touchdown catches for him in 3 games.
There's the Wolverines' upcoming schedule. Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan State, and Penn State. Of course, as we mentioned, Michigan State beat Pitt today, and they'll host the Irish next week in East Lansing.
And Lloyd Carr ups, if he hangs on, ups his record to, 7 or 8-2 against top 5 teams.
The Irish a lofty number 2 coming into today's game. In fact, in that last timeout, the Michigan fans were chanting the inevitable overrated.
You hear that all around stadiums these days in college football, don't you?
Yes, you do.
There's another guy, Mark Beal, number 54, the center, had a nice game. Notre Dame's upcoming schedule at Michigan State 3-0, and Purdue back at home. Stanford struggling a bit. The Bruins of UCLA had this weekend off, but 2-0. New quarterback Ben Olsen.
Struggled a little bit against Rice last week, but managed to win the game. They were plagued by turnovers, the Bruins against the Owls, and it just shows that you can't take anybody lightly. If you're not ready to play every week, somebody will get you. And
well, you said at the top, Tom, there wasn't the buzz around here among the student body and maybe even the team. There wasn't as much energy in this stadium as there was last week.
Our Vonage Notre Dame postgame report. We'll hear from Coach Carr and Coach Weiss.
How about the day Chad Henne has had? You know, Tom, there's been he's had his detractors. Not exactly sure why, in the sense that as a freshman he threw 25 touchdown passes. Last year he threw 23 touchdowns with just 8 interceptions, nearly a 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. Big day today.
Well, Michigan, though they've scored only 2 field goals in this second half, they have been able to control the ball and take time off the clock. Of course, they had that 34-14 lead at halftime. Hart, Zivikowski had him, got away, but then help arrives in the form of Ndukwe, and the tackle made. And Notre Dame will take another timeout.
Well, you know, there were 2 regular season losses last year for the Irish. They were right here at Notre Dame Stadium.
Ndukwe a little gimpy as he heads to the sideline. Notre Dame down to its final timeout. Resting the clock was 6:27. And it'll be 4th down for Michigan. And 2 weeks from now, we'll be right back here at Notre Dame Stadium as the Purdue Boilermakers come from across state, from West Lafayette, to take on the Fighting Irish. Purdue and Notre Dame, presented by Comcast. That'll be Saturday, September 30th here at Notre Dame Stadium after the Irish go to East Lansing next week. Well, it's funny, you know, last year, Michigan's season sort of went downhill after Notre Dame upset them at Michigan Stadium. Be interesting to see if the Irish can rally after this thrashing by the Wolverines.
Well, it won't be easy going to Michigan State after this kind of performance. A couple guys got banged up.
Ryan's punt.
Even Zivikowski's had a call for a couple of fair catches today.
Yeah.
Was out of bounds.
He was saying to us yesterday, Tom Zivikowski, I hate losing.
He said, if anybody knows me, they know I'm a sore loser. Well, he's going to have a lot to be sore about today. Irish will take over with 6:19 on the clock. Our Notre Dame football game presented to you today by Coke Zero. (40-21). You look in the top left corner of Notre Dame Stadium there. You saw a lot of maize from the Michigan fans that made the trip up and the Irish fans.
What's the difference between that and yellow?
It's a lot different. I'll have to explain it to you sometime. And Twins back in the shotgun again on first down. Walker underneath. And Michigan's content to let them do that as Walker races for the sideline and gets out of bounds to stop the clock. Leon Hall chasing him. If this victory stands up, and it looks like it will be especially sweet, I suspect, for a couple of fellas. One of them being Coach Lloyd Carr and the other being quarterback Chad Henne. They've heard the critics for a while, and to come in and knock off the second-ranked Irish in Notre Dame would be pretty satisfying victory for those two. Flag down, looks like a hold coming up against Notre Dame as Quinn will buck out of bounds.
You know, Tom, I think some of the sentiment or the negative sentiment is because he's lost the last 2 years to Ohio State, to Notre Dame in his bowl games, but it looks like he's going to hang on and break that streak.
Holding number 50, offense. 10-yard penalty, previous spot, repeat, second out.
Dan Santucci guilty of the hold.
Lloyd Carr, always kind of a thoughtful guy, likes to read in the offseason. He was talking about some of the things he was reading this past summer. Doris Goodwin's book, Team of Rivals, about Abraham Lincoln. Steve Sampson's book on leadership, Contrarian View to Leadership.
Underneath again to Walker. Dodging a couple of tacklers, but then taken down at the 30-yard line.
Deshaun Crable, number 7, really had a nice game on two on defense. And as you look at Chad Henne, well, that great freshman year. Remember that Rose Bowl was freshman year, first freshman ever to start a Rose Bowl game, threw 4 touchdown passes against Texas. And even last year, when people were dissatisfied with his play, did throw 23 touchdowns.
Flags down.
False start, number 68, offense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Ryan Harris with the false start.
Told that Chad Henne loves the Forrest Gump movie, can imitate Forrest pretty well.
I think he's getting kind of tired of hearing about that. His coaching staff is always reminding everybody. He was the former Pennsylvania Player of the Year, All-American, All-Stater, Wilson High School, Wyomissing, Pennsylvania. A lot of the services rated him as the 4th best quarterback in the United States. Also played basketball, track, ran the 100 meters, threw the javelin. All-round athlete. He's had his lumps in Ann Arbor, but has also had some good moments too. And this is going to go into the good column.
Well, this will be his 20. This was his 28th start, and he has now won 19 of those against some, top flight competition when you're playing in the Big Ten.
4th down and 10. Samardzija
just takes it away.
Yep, goes up top and takes it away from Trent for the Irish first down, an 18-yard gain.
I've seen him make so many catches over the last year and a half when he's been covered by just using his body and the strong hands. Just kind of snatches it away from the defenders. Really, watches really just his left hand kind of snagged that one.
Only his 3rd catch of the day, though.
And that's key for the Irish.
Here's McKnight. Had a step on the defense, getting some safety help coming over, but Quinn overshot him incomplete. So 4:48 on the clock. And a second down for Weiss and the Irish. Pressure, and Quinn able to unload it down the field for Samardzija, but the pass carries well out of bounds as Harrison was bearing down on Brady Quinn.
Harrison just right off the corner, unblocked on one of those safety blitzes. Forced Brady Quinn to throw way before right up here on the top. Nobody picked him up. And it's been that kind of day for Brady Quinn. He's had people in his face just about, I would say, 80% of the time he's thrown it.
I really can't remember many times when he's been able to stand in the pocket and plant his feet and deliver. Here's another example. Flag on that late hit.
Brandon Graham, number 55.
Personal foul, number 50, defense. Late hit, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They called 50 Van Alstyne, but I think it was
55 Graham,
wasn't it?
That's what I thought.
So the penalty
There's 55 Chasen and Graham.
makes it a first down.
That's the play. No, you're right. It was 55 or 50 Van Alstyne.
Van Alstyne with the late hit. So ball at the 42 of Michigan. The Irish first down.
And immediately Lloyd Carr takes Van Alstyne off the field.
This is no time for that. In the pocket and a sack. Tim Jamison sacks Brady Quinn.
Well, you know, talk about the defensive ends. The starting one's Lamar Woodley and Rondell Biggs, who lead the Division I in sacks. And then Tim Jamison comes in as well and makes a sack. Wow. Jamison was there and got some help from Eugene, Germany also. That's good defensive ends. That's 4 of them.
Second down and 15.
Front seven's really been good for Michigan today.
Through the hands of Samardzija. That one had too much heat on it, and it was high to boot.
I tell you, Brady Quinn's going to spend some time in the hot tub, cold tub, whatever. He got a shot there again.
Maybe both.
Yeah, and he got out very slowly. It's another big hit on him. Alan Branch all 331 times, 10 hits, 7 knockdowns, 4 sacks, and a bruised ego, I think, after what happened today. But, you know, you find out about guys. He's been through this before. He's usually bounced back, played well the next week.
He's not that emotional. He doesn't get too high or too low. And he will surely be disappointed. But here's Darius Walker with a nifty run. There's a flag down, though. Penalty marker on the play. And then another one comes down on that hit out of bounds. And the Wolverines getting a little chippy here. They have a big lead. They need to cool their jets just a little bit. Had several late hits here in the fourth quarter. Here's the conference. Multiple flags. Gain 24 yards if it holds up.
Actually, 2 sets of flags.
If we had to speculate, we'd say probably a hold and probably a late hit.
You know I don't speculate.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, number 78, offense. A 10-yard penalty will be administered, previous spot. Personal foul, late hit on the defense. That 15-yard penalty will then be administered with an automatic first down.
Nice speculation.
So 10 steps back, 15 steps forward.
Okay, let's take a look at the hold. And number 78 will go right there in the middle of the screen.
John Sullivan.
It didn't look like a hold to me.
Not much, was it?
No, I wouldn't hold. But there was the late here late on Darius Walker. I didn't like that call either, actually.
That one,
like either
that one could also not have been thrown. Out of his hand, and he falls on it. And then it's taken away and picked up by Michigan. Lamar Woodley.
He's running out of gas.
Touchdown. He didn't run out soon enough. He was on empty, but he had fumes left.
Thomas is about as bad as he can get for the Irish today. Just one of those kind of games. They have done everything poorly. The ball just comes right out of Brady Quinn's hands. And then Lamar Woodley, the outstanding defensive end, just picks it up. And they're getting this, 29 miles per gallon. Breaks through the tackle of John Carlson, stays in bounds, and does his best to kind of stay on his feet after he's exhausted.
Extra point is good. Nightmare day for Brady Quinn. As we say in the South, this is a whooping.
Might be saying that in the Midwest as well. He's a big, strong guy with strong hands. The ball is just slippery, comes out. Seen it happen a lot over the years, but usually you just kind of fall on it. This time Lamar Woodley picks it up. You see how fast this former linebacker, now defensive end, is. You see why he's got 4 sacks? Got a double clutch there for a while, didn't he?
Yep. He's right up there close to the Motor City. They might ought to see him about increasing the gas mileage.
Yeah. Oh, he's catching his breath now.
Poetic justice that Lamar Woodley, who's played so well the first 3 games for the Wolverines, should get a little taste of honey. Fifth Notre Dame turnover today. Michigan has gotten 24 of their 47 points off the Irish miscues, and they had been mistake-free in terms of turnovers coming into the game. David Grimes.
David Grimes on the return for Notre Dame.
And we'll take a look at our Chevrolet players of the game. Manningham with 4 receptions and 3 touchdowns despite tangling with a tuba at one point. And Raymond McKnight, 5 receptions, 76 yards, and a score. In recognition of their determination and outstanding play, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Chevy, an American revolution.
And Evan Sharpley now in at quarterback for the Irish.
No sense getting Brady Quinn beaten up any further. Not that Evan wants to be beaten up, but that's the kind of day it's been for the Irish as Minear Prince, the freshman running back, gets a welcome to the Big Ten from Prescott Burgess.
You know, if Charlie Weiss could go back to 2-a-days next week, he would. Kind of one of those lookout blocks by one of the guys up front. Minear Prince had absolutely no chance, and number 6, Prescott Burgess, making his presence felt again.
Yeah, again. That was Prince with a positive run that time.
Number 25.
They bring up a 3rd down. They have to make that yellow line, and our 1st and 10 line today brought to us by Xerox.
Yeah, we talked about Minear Prince a little bit in the last game, Tom, and Charlie Weiss still very, very high on Prince. He said, if you ever get this guy in the open field, no one's going to catch him. But
and Lloyd Carr is about to get a cold shower.
Look out, Coach. You know, you don't mind. We haven't won here since 1994.
Crable has him by the hand.
Yeah, Crable's go.
Sharpley's first pass attempt. It's complete. Off by Paris, Robbie Paris, freshman receiver from Homestead Falls, Ohio. Sharpley came in against Penn State, mopping up, and went back to attempt to pass. Nobody was open, and wound up having to scramble.
He's a pretty good athlete. You know, he was a reserve first baseman on the Irish baseball team. Probably going to have to make up his mind this upcoming spring what sport he's going to pursue.
Rolling to his right, Sharpley will just duck out of bounds.
Well, that's 4th down.
That was 4th down, so that didn't help things much. That means that Michigan will take over.
Well, Lloyd Carr. He's even a smile for Lloyd Carr. Even a smile. He doesn't mind so much. First time since 1994 he brought a team in here and they won.
Well, his team has had total domination of the Irish today.
Let's look at Burgess and Crable doing
The Notre Dame fortunes took a serious hit on the first possession of the game when the pass was intercepted off the tipped ball by Burgess for a touchdown. The Irish got an interception themselves and managed to score after that to tie it at 7. After that, it was all Michigan. And I mean all Michigan, as they dominate Brady Quinn and the Irish in every way possible today. Total domination. They had a 34-7 lead late in the second quarter. Took Notre Dame over 20 minutes to finally get a first down. Through 3 quarters, Notre Dame had more punts than first downs. That highly vaunted Notre Dame offense held totally in check by the Michigan defense. And in the first half, at least, the Michigan offense running at will and passing at will on the Notre Dame defense. All right, our Vonage post-game reports. Let's go down to Lewis.
Sorry, can't hear Tom. All right, thanks a lot, Tom. Well, Coach, what does it mean for you to have come into South Bend and dominated Notre Dame the way you have today?
Well, when you play in this game enough times, you're going to win some and you're going to lose some. And that's true for coaching as well as players. And last year, Notre Dame had a great day in Michigan Stadium. I think that motivated us a lot, but today was our day. Our guys played their hearts out. They were ready to play. I think they had great motivation throughout the winter. When you come off a disappointing season like we had, you know, if you have great character, then it motivates you.
You must have paid a lot of attention to Brady Quinn and trying to slow him down, because that was evident throughout the game. Talk about that defensive pressure that he saw all day.
Well, I think, you know, it began. We have an excellent front four, and what we talked about all week long was that if we could put pressure on him, then we felt like we could be successful, and we had some success today.
All right, Coach, congratulations. We'll let you go celebrate. And, of course, for everyone out there, if you'd like to catch Lloyd Carr's press conference as well as coaches from Notre Dame, you can catch that at NBCSports.com. Tom?
All right, Lewis. This is a bittersweet moment as the victory march is played. The players go over in front of the student section as they did last year for the victory march and the alma mater. As our Vonage Notre Dame postgame report continues, big day for the Wolverines and their coach Lloyd Carr. We'll be back to Notre Dame Stadium in 30 seconds. Welcome back to our Vonage Notre Dame postgame report from Notre Dame Stadium, where the Michigan Wolverines have soundly thrashed the Irish by a final count of 47-21, knocking Notre Dame out of the lofty number 2 ranking, their first defeat of the season, and dealing a serious blow to their national championship hopes. Nearly impossible these days to have a loss as decisively as this and to still win the national championship. They would have to have a whole lot of help in a lot of ways. And for Brady Quinn and his hopes of winning the Heisman Trophy, a bitter day as well, as he was just off par and completely surrounded, it seemed, all day long by the Michigan defense. And I can't remember a Notre Dame game in which they were so thoroughly dominated by an opponent as they were by Michigan today.
Yeah, you talk about Brady Quinn and Chad Henne. He completed 13 passes. 3 of those were for touchdowns. I mean, he kind of managed the game just like we're used to seeing Brady Quinn manage a game. So Chad Henne did a great job, I think, of controlling the whole tempo of the game. Their defense was outstanding, and the special teams came up with a couple of big plays.
Yeah, they did it in every phase of the game, and really it was no contest from very early on. That 34-7 lead late in the second quarter, and they just were able to hold on from there. So the final score again is Michigan 47, Notre Dame 21. A reminder, in 2 weeks, the Fighting Irish will host Purdue here on NBC. And don't forget, tomorrow night, the Dallas Cowboys hosting the Washington Redskins on Sunday Night Football. Tonight at 8/7 Central, it's Most Outrageous Moments, followed by Julia Roberts in Runaway Bride. And for a complete wrap-up of today's game, including the live Charlie Weiss and Lloyd Carr press conferences, we invite you to visit NBCSports.com. Big day for the Wolverines at Notre Dame Stadium today. For Pat Hayden, Lewis Johnson, the rest of our NBC Sports crew, Tom Hammond saying so long from Notre Dame Stadium. You've been watching Notre Dame football on NBC, presented by Coke Zero.